Hi everyone, welcome to another reading. Thank you so much for being here. My name's Kaylee if you're new. And okay. So if this message found you, this is some sort of confirmation, validation for you about something you were already wondering about, something you were picking up on, or a confirmation that you are manifesting something. Or it could be some sort of clarity, add a little bit more detail or understanding to something you had been wondering about. If what I'm about to say does not make much sense to you, or it's not resonating, or you're not feeling it very strongly, or if it sounds confusing, it's probably just not your message, because this is, this is for a collective. So it won't be for, obviously it's not going to be for everyone, who might run across this message. So just something to keep in mind. And these are not personal readings. This type of reading is not a personal reading. This is not the same sort of deal as with a personal reading. With a personal reading, like a private reading, the reader is tapping into only one specific person's energy and reading for only one specific person. And that's not what we're doing here. I'm reading for several people, likely a very large group of people all at once. And so I'm getting messages for multiple people at the same time. All kind of have a similar story, but there will be some pieces that will be for one person and some pieces will fit for another person. And then for some people, like all the pieces will fit, or most of the pieces. For others, only a couple pieces might be something that you could benefit from, or, take. That's why we say take what resonates, because it's for groups. So there might only be little bits and pieces here that aligned you with this reading that you're here to hear. And for others of you, you're here to hear all of it or many parts of it, So please just use your discernment, take what resonates. And if it's just not clicking, then it's probably just not your message. Okay. So just wanted to mention that in the beginning. I mean, you're still welcome to watch the reading. I mean, clearly you have free will and you can watch whatever you want to, but I'm just giving you a way to kind of gauge whether this reading probably is for you or not. I highly recommend not trying to force anything to fit in any reading. If it's just not feeling right, if it's just not vibing with you, it's just probably not for you, or at least not at this time. So no worries. There are other readings on my channel you could check out if you feel called to, or I just might not be the reader for you, or just not today. And that is perfectly okay. I haven't really talked about this much on this channel, but I just wanted to mention that anything that you ever receive in any of my readings are not guarantees. They are not anything that's trying to tell you what you should think or what to think or what will happen. There can't be any guarantees. No absolute guarantees when it comes to future predictions, especially because the future is malleable. You have free will, other people have free will, and there's almost nothing that's set in stone. I won't say that there's absolutely nothing that's set in stone, but it's my belief that there are very few things that are set in stone. There are very few things that have like a fixed, certain outcome. So, and as you get closer and closer to a specific event happening, there is a greater and greater chance that a future prediction will come to pass. But there's almost always, if not always, something you can do to change the outcome of something or change the trajectory of something that you don't like. So if you ever receive a reading that makes you feel bad or is something you don't want to align with, I just want to let you know that you are never doomed to anything. And at least I don't believe you are. If you get a reading, there's probably a reason. And the reason probably is so that you can do something to shift your energy, make different choices, different decisions, figure out something that you can do ahead of time so that an outcome that you don't want does not occur. So that is one way you can look at these readings if we're talking about future predictions, or like if you get a reading about someone that you don't like, if you get a reading about someone who has feelings for you that you don't want to be with, like an ex or something that just keeps being in your energy that you don't want there, any reading like that is basically letting you know that person is thinking about you, that is in your energy, and that is like a possibility for you. But any reading that you ever get are only ever possibilities and potentials. It's essentially the universe saying to you, yes, you can have this. It's saying this is available to you. This can align for you. You are able to have this if you want it. It's a very real possibility for you, and you're on track for that right now. If you want it, it's there. It doesn't mean anything has to happen or absolutely will occur. It's saying that there's a high likelihood. It's there. It can happen. So if you ever get a reading, or you keep getting readings about a specific person that you don't want to align with, there's no need to panic. It's not trying to say you will end up with this person for sure. It's just saying that you could if you wanted to, and also letting you know that that person is still in your energy. They're still hanging around. They're still thinking of you. There's still a very real possibility that if you were open to it, if you gave them a chance, then that could align. But it doesn't mean like no matter what you do, you can't get away from this person. That's not what it's saying. The only exception I've seen to that, and it's extremely rare, like it's way more rare, I think, than a lot of people think it is, but there are certain destined connections. At least this is what I've observed. It does seem like there are some connections that are destined. And no matter what you do, it's going to be really, really hard for you to avoid having a connection with someone, because it's almost like the universe is really trying to bring you two together. But in that case, you will have a sense of that. You will actually want to be with this person, and they will want to be with you too. You might think that it can't happen or something, so there might be resistance, but it will be something that you do want on some level, though. It won't be like someone who's an ex that you're like, oh, I just want to get away from this person because it was so toxic, you know? So there can be certain circumstances. What I'm trying to say is there can be certain exceptions where, like, even if you try to push someone away or say, no, I don't want that, it will keep coming back around no matter what you do, because it is like a destined connection. It's one of those things where, like, no matter how you push it away, it will always come back around because you are meant to do something with a certain person. It's like the universe is trying to get you two together. And, you know, this can be for any type of, I believe that a destined connection can be any type of connection. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that this will be somebody that you spend the rest of your life with. Sometimes you guys are destined to do a specific thing together, so you will get signs, and it's like the universe is trying to get you together. It's like you had a soul contract, but it might not be lifelong. First, a lot of people, if it's something this big of a deal, a lot of times it is, but not always. And it doesn't, they don't have to be necessarily romantic connections either. Like destined connections, I think, can be any type of connection. So even like a friendship or something can be a destined connection, you know? We can have very close relationships with people, even if it's not like a romantic relationship. So just wanted to mention that. You know, and these connections can be here to help us transform in some way, to heal or to awaken, to to spiritually awaken, or to see things in a new life, or to change our lives in some way, you know, to grow, to learn, to evolve, and all that stuff. I even had huge signs and like huge messages about one of my dogs before I met her for the first time. So, you know, and she was like an angel in my life, but I'm just saying, like, any type of connection can be a very significant destined connection in our lives. Like, just as an example, maybe you meet someone who was your brother or your sister in a past life, and maybe you were extremely, extremely close, you know, like you really loved each other, and but then you meet, you know, your souls decided to meet again in this lifetime in a slightly different way, you know, like maybe in this lifetime you'll be friends, you know, but you still feel that same love, you know. It's like your souls remember when you had that lifetime when you were siblings and you were so close. But the universe, it's like no matter what you do, the universe just keeps like sending so many signs, or like keeps bringing you guys back to the same place, or it's like no matter what you do, it's like you can't, it's like you guys keep coming back together, you know? Like it won't just be a feeling that you have. You won't just feel like this person is the one. It won't be like, oh, I just feel like this is the person for me, and no matter what I do, I can't stop thinking about them, or I've been pining after them for years and there's no forward movement in the relationship, but I still feel like they're the one. That's typically not a destined connection. That's not what I'm talking about. A lot of times that is actually limerence. I mean, I don't want to say for sure because everyone's situation is different, but when it's like an actual destined connection or something, the universe is really trying to bring you guys to where the universe is really trying to bring you guys together because you have like some significant soul contract, or, you know, basically it's meant to be. It will be obvious, or there will be huge signs. Again, guys, it will be like if you try to walk away, or you're like, universe, be honest, I don't think this is going to happen. Like you will get huge signs. And I'm not just talking like small things like, oh, sometimes I'll get a reading about this person, maybe. Now it might start like that, or you might get, that might be part of it, but you will also get like big signs. You might get really big signs, especially if you try to walk away or like push this person away. It's like the universe will get louder. It won't get quieter or fade in time. It's like usually you will continue to get big signs, maybe even huge things, like crazy things. Like you're walking and all the street lamps turn off at once and you look to your side and you see that person's name spelled out on the sidewalk in chalk or something, you know, like something really crazy where you're like, how the freak did this happen? You know, like what had to all occur, what had to all go together for this to happen, you know? And there will be a lot of signs, and it won't be like that you will have to ask for the signs or look really hard to get the signs. I mean, if you want to ask for a sign, they will give that to you, but it's like you will get signs anyway when it's that sort of connection. It's like strong because the universe really wants you guys to come together and wants to make that really clear, you know, like really obvious. So that's usually how that goes. If you guys aren't hesitant about the connection or aren't like, you know, trying to push the connection away or like move away from it, you might not get as strong of signs. You will still get signs, but they might be smaller signs. Like you'll get readings about them. You'll have dreams about them. You'll have, you know, other signs and synchronicities. You might see their name, or hear their name or something in random places and, things like that. Or you will hear a lot of things on, you know, like you'll hear things on the radio or you'll see things in social media that remind you of them. And there will be like signs, but they might not be like huge, glaring, obvious signs, you know. But there will still be signs. And like the universe will try to make it clear to you that this is a destined connection. Now, sometimes you can still have signs and synchronicities and stuff about connections that aren't necessarily like a hardcore destined connection. If it would be like a connection that would be good for you, or that your guides want to let you know, like if it's a manifestation of yours or something, or someone you like a connection you prayed for, you'll get signs and synchronicities about those types of connections too. So even if it's not like a really strong destined like soul contract sort of thing where it's like the universe will try to make sure you guys get together no matter what, even if it's just someone like that you prayed for, or like an opportunity in love, or if it's someone you've been trying to manifest, it's like you will still get signs letting you know, hey, this is the person you were trying, you know, like this is the person you prayed for, or this is the person you've been trying to manifest, something like that, you know. So you'll get signs and synchronicities if it's different types of connections too, but it will be like intense when it's, at least in my experience and from what I've seen, it's like it's very intense when it's a destined connection. It's like no matter how hard you try to walk away or how long you stay away, it's like it will still, it just won't go away. Like the universe will keep sending you signs, you know, and you won't feel better the further away you get, you know. It's like you will kind of it's like it, anyway. And I'm going into this much detail because I see a lot of times people will be confused and be like, is this my person? Oftentimes people will ask questions like, excuse me, they'll turn to tarot to ask, like, is this my person? Is this like the one for me? Is this a destined connection? Should I wait for this person? Should I keep trying with this connection? Should I, keep waiting for this person, or should I move on, And I think a lot of times when people are asking those questions, usually the answer is to move on, or at least to detach from the outcome and just see what happens. Try not to control the situation. Be open to other love opportunities and to just focus on what you want in your own life, what you want to manifest in general in your life, and focus on like what you want to feel in a relationship, what you want to experience in a relationship, what you're interested in having, like the things that you want to, that are most important to you in a relationship, what, like the overall experience you want to have, how you want to feel, what you want to do with this person, how you want to be treated, those sorts of things, how you want your life to go, what you want to do in your life with a partner, things like that, and really get clear on those things and like the experience that you want to have. And then be really honest with yourself about whether you feel like that can actually occur with the person you're currently interested in. And if you're not sure, if you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't know, maybe some point in the future, maybe they could mature or change or this, that, and the other thing. It's like, in that case, you have free will. You could wait for that person, but I recommend never waiting. I really think, or I won't say never, it's up to you. Again, you have free will, but I say usually it's a good idea to like detach or move on from a situation where it doesn't look like things are moving forward, or it doesn't look like it's going to be compatible with how the person currently is, and to just not worry about it. Because if it is if it's a destined connection, if it's actually truly destined, guys, there will be a lot of signs, and it will not matter if you try to walk away. You will keep getting pushed back together with this person, or there will be humongous signs, and it will be, again, it's like a big deal when that happens. You might get some signs if it's not a destined connection. You still might get some signs when the person is thinking about you, but it will probably mostly be things like thoughts or like feelings, like a sense that the person is thinking about you. You might have them in dreams. You might see their names sometimes, or again, you might get them in readings. But like if it's a destined connection, you will be getting some really intense signs and synchronicities, and usually they're tangible. They're like weird things, like the lights flickering or going off, or things. It's usually like a strong thing, and you will get them repeatedly, and it will be basically you're there's going to be a lot of signs if you're supposed to be with someone, and it's like you will keep coming back to them, and you will want to as well, and it will be mutual, like you're both going to feel this pull towards each other. And but I recommend, like, my philosophy is pretty much like, if you love something or you love someone, you let it go, you let it have its freedom, you don't try to like control too much. And if it seems like something is trying to move away, or it just feels like you're having to put in so much effort to try to hold something together or make something work, or if you're just not happy in a connection, I think it's best to usually just like let it happen, like just let it fall apart, or just let it go, don't try so hard. And if it falls apart, or if it just isn't coming together, then that's probably what's meant to be. And I just think that that's the best way to go about it, is to try not to fight the natural flow of what it feels like is happening. Don't fight the energetic flow. It's like if you're having to put in so much effort, so much focus, so much like, if you're having to try so hard and it feels like it's just not working, or, it's stressing you out in some way, and it feels like the other person isn't giving as much as you are, like they're not they're not returning your energy, or it's like they're acting in a way where you're not happy in the relationship, or it doesn't feel compatible, I think it's best to just let it go, because it feels like in that case you're fighting against the current. That's just what I think. I've seen people, or like heard people being concerned about, or like worrying about, what if this is my person though? Like, what if I'm walking away from my person? What if I'm walking away from the love of my life? What if I'm, making the wrong choice? Like, what if I'm giving up on, like, this is the one? And to that, I just say, if it is the one, truly, if it really is the love of your life, then it's going to come back around, and it's going to be right someday, and you won't have to force it. You won't have to put in work for it. It won't feel, well, maybe, every relationship takes some sort of work, or some sort of, like you have to maintain it in some way, like it takes some effort, but it shouldn't feel like hard work. It should feel like it's, for the most part, it flows, and it's pretty easy, and it definitely contributes more to your overall well-being, and contributes more to your overall peace, and just your happiness and all the good stuff in your life. It should feel like it contributes more to you than it's taking away. It should feel overall like it's bringing more good things in than it's causing you stress, or that it's taking away from you or draining you, So, you don't have to worry, basically, if you separate from someone or you walk away from a connection, because if it is meant to be, it will come back around in a way where it does feel in alignment, and it feels right, and the other person will feel, will be putting in equal work, basically. It's like, if you walk away, if it really is the love of their life, they're going to come back around for you, or the universe will present an opportunity for you guys to reconnect. And again, it will feel right. You will just have like a sense. It will feel good. It will feel like it's flowing. It will feel, there will be like a sense of ease about it, or it will feel meant to be, there won't be like an overall feeling of stress. It will feel, it's like it will feel good, there will be like a lightness to it, or it will feel divine in a way, like another sign, I think, for if someone is the one, is like, do you feel safe with this person? Do you feel comfortable? Like, do you feel at peace with this person? That's a really huge sign that this is a good person for you. And also, how does your body react? That's a big one. Do you feel anxious? Again, like, do you feel calm? Do you feel at peace? Does your nervous system relax? That's a really good sign that someone is a good person for you to have around. And another thing is, like, if you get, and it, like, the opposite is true too. Like, if you get sick around someone, oftentimes that's a sign that something's off, or they're not good for you, like, especially if like you notice you start getting sick all the time with someone, but then like when you move away from them, or you break up or something, or you move on, and then your body starts healing, or you start feeling better physically, like even if you feel emotionally in pain, or even if you're sad or things like that, but you healed, and your body is still healing, that's usually also a sign that like that person wasn't good for you, because now that you're away from them, your body is healing, so that's usually your body sending you signs and signals that you're on the right track. So, I won't say it's always true, but usually it is true that your body will tell you if someone's good for you or not. And so, like, if you get sick a lot around the person, or you feel sick to your stomach, or you feel really, really nervous, or you don't feel calm and relaxed, and you also feel like you have to second guess or wonder all the time about this person and their intentions. And your head spins, or like you feel like so much of your time is spent like wondering what's going on with the connection. And like, if it's a more comprehensive list of things that I think are important to notice, like if you're asking yourself whether someone is the one. I mean, this is a lot of details to throw at you, but I just feel like I feel called to share this just in case somebody here is still wondering about that. I feel like it's important to, like, if you're with someone especially and you're like, is this the person? Is this the one? Or if you're talking to them and you're thinking of getting into a relationship with them, although I feel like these are things you'll probably notice, like if you're in a relationship with them, but sometimes these types of things show up even when you've like just met them. But anyway, basically, if you feel drained or tired a lot of the time in this person's presence, or like once you get into a relationship with them, do you feel more anxious overall than you did before you got into a connection with this person? If you do, that can be a red flag. If your immune system is having more issues, like if you're having autoimmune issues or a weaker immune system, you get sick more often or more easily. Do you spend more time arguing and or worrying about this connection, or thinking about, ruminating about it, trying to make things work out between the two of you, apologizing, trying to figure out if they're upset and or why? Do you spend more time like trying to work out disagreements, trying to please them, trying to keep their attention, etc., than you do actually feeling just happy and relaxed and good and secure in the relationship? Other red flags are like you feel like your needs and desires don't matter to your partner, or at least that they don't matter that much, or not as much as they expect their needs and desires to matter to you. That's something to pay attention to. Do you feel like your partner doesn't show a genuine interest in your well-being? Do they ask you how you are, and do you actually feel like they care about how you're doing? Do they pay attention to that? Do they pay attention to things that are important to your well-being? Or do they do things that can negatively impact your overall well-being, or like even purposely do things that could negatively impact your well-being? Or act like they don't care. Like, just as an example, if you had an allergy to something, or you told them you were allergic to something or had a food sensitivity, would they expose you to that allergen anyway? Would they like be careless and like give you that food or something, or do something like that? That's important to pay attention to. Or do they expect their well-being, to matter to you more than your well-being matters to them? Again, like, is it equal, or is it where they expect you to care and pay attention to their needs, their well-being, their feelings and things, but then they don't care or don't pay attention to yours? Another red flag. I mean, I think a lot of people know these, but I'm just listing these because I feel like this is important for someone listening. So you can skip over it again if you want to. But they criticize you, demean you, mock you, put you down, make fun of you, and or the things that are important to you, or things you like, people that are important to you, people you like. They minimize and or ignore your feelings. They embarrass you on purpose. Like they humiliate you in front of others, or embarrass you in front of others on purpose. They say mean things about you in front of others, or again, they like put you down in front of others. And like, I'm not saying that it's always bad to like tease people every once in a while or something, especially if that's something you guys are comfortable with. You know, it's different for everyone, but if it feels like it's hurting your feelings, and especially if you say something hurts your feelings and that person continues to do that and just says, oh, you're being too sensitive, or like, oh, that shouldn't bother you for me to tease you that way, that's an issue. You know, that is something to really pay attention to, because that's someone who's not, they're not considering your feelings. You know, they're like minimizing your feelings. That's in general, someone minimizing and or ignoring your feelings is a red flag. That shows an overall lack of empathy, or at least lack of emotional intelligence, and that's not typically something you want in a partner. So if someone's doing that to you, and they're not actively seeking help with that, or making a very concerted effort to actually heal that or change that, you know, that's an issue. I guess unless you're the same way, and then maybe it wouldn't be an issue for you. But I think in general, for most people, this is going to be an issue. Yeah. And I'm not saying like I'm not saying it's overall like it's a terrible thing if somebody like criticizes you one time, or says like, I don't like this one thing that you do, or it bothers me when you do this one thing, as long as it's like occasional, or as long as it's not like all the time, or not in a way where it feels cruel, you know, where it just feels like I think in general, most people will have some disagreement or some argument at some point in the relationship. But like if it feels, especially if it feels like frequent, or they are doing these things to you more than they are doing positive things, like if they say more say they say more critical things to you than they do compliments or praise, or you know, things that encourage you, uplift you, make you feel good about yourself, support you, encourage you, you know, like if it's out of balance, that especially I think is something to pay attention to. But I really think if anyone is like putting you, in my opinion, if anyone's demeaning you or mocking you, putting you down for anything, I really think that's something to pay very close attention to, because I just think that's a sign of someone who doesn't have very good character in general, but or again, at least very low emotional intelligence. But however you want to label it, I think that's a red flag. But I know some people have differing opinions on that. So, but I'm just throwing this out there as something to consider and look at. Another one is they act possessive or controlling, or they act in a negative way in response to feeling jealous. And again, they're not doing something, like they're not actually making a concerted effort to heal that or seek therapy for that, to change that behavior, you know. Another thing to pay attention to is like, do you feel less confident and self-assured than you used to before you got into this relationship? Do you doubt yourself more than you did before? These can be signs that you're being, you know, again, someone's undermining your confidence, or that they're gaslighting you even, or doing something that could even be like abusive, you know? So these are things to pay attention to about how you're feeling, you know? Do you have worse luck overall in your life than you used to before? This, you know, sometimes people don't realize that this can be connected to your relationship, but it's like who you spend your time and your energy with, who you're connected to, especially if you are, if you have a sexual connection with this person, or like a physically intimate connection, your energy is very tied to that person now. And your overall energy, like things in your life, your manifestations and stuff, can be really affected by their energy and by, you know, well, you know, your manifestations are tied to your energy. So if your energy is being thrown off by being in a relationship that's not good for you, that's out of alignment with you, it's going to throw everything out of alignment. So you might see that as like luck, like your luck is worse, or you might realize you're not manifesting as easily, or your manifestations just aren't coming in, or things are falling apart, or it just doesn't feel right. It just feels like things aren't working out for you in general. And it might, and again, it's like in an unusual way, or a way that is different than what you used to experience before you got into this connection. Do you feel less liked by others and you aren't sure why? Because sometimes, again, like this can throw off your energy. And you might notice like it's harder for you to make friends, or like people who you used to like to socialize with, they aren't, or just in general, maybe you just feel it's like if you're not sure why other people aren't reacting to you the same way that they used to, or again, that can be because your relationship is throwing off your energy, and it's anyway, another one to pay attention. I'm not sure if I'm describing that well, but I've just noticed that can happen sometimes, where and also sometimes it's because that person is deliberately sabotaging your connections with other people too. That's why it's important for you to pay attention to little signs like that, because sometimes, again, if you're with a like a really toxic person, they could be actually deliberately sabotaging you behind the scenes, like sabotaging your connections with other people. Or it could just be that your energy is thrown off, and kind of like on that note, if you feel, more isolated in general from people, like you don't feel like you can connect as easily, or you just notice you feel more isolated, or you don't, you feel isolated from loved ones that you used to be close with, you don't feel like you can maintain your friendships like you used to, or again, these are bad signs, because it could be a sign that this person is purposely isolating you from other people to make you more easily controlled. Or it could just be again, like your energy is thrown off, and so you're just not connecting as easily with other people, or something like that, so anyway, there's that. And another one is if you are having financial troubles, like if you lose your job, or you can't find a job, you're finding it difficult to find a job, or you're making less money, like for instance, if you are losing sales, and you're not sure why, and it seems like strange that it should be hard for you to find a job, or like it's like if it's a strange thing, especially that you weren't expecting, or if you have some other sort of misfortune in your career, that can be a sign, because again, it's a sign of your energy being off, like your vibration is thrown off, your energy isn't right, and so like things around your finances can be impacted. Just all kinds of things in your life can be impacted negatively, like in general, your luck might feel worse than it was before. Or, if this person takes your money, or encourages you to spend your money in a way that's not responsible, or that's, not going to be a good long-term decision for you, that's not going to be good for you, that puts you in a bad position financially, that like puts you into debt or something, that's a bad sign, if you just don't feel like yourself in general, that's, something to pay attention to. I think that one's pretty obvious, but sometimes we don't realize that the reason we're not feeling well, or we're not feeling like ourselves, is because of the person we're with, because sometimes we can, make excuses, or say, oh no, it's not them, it's probably this, or it's just me, or there's something else going on, like we don't want to associate it with that person sometimes. So I'm just bringing that up because Yeah. And I'm talking about like in a bad way. Because sometimes people say, like, I don't feel like myself, but like that's a good thing because that, like I've changed, like I wasn't happy before and like now I am, I've changed and I've become a better person and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying it's like when you don't feel like yourself in a bad way. Like you don't, I think you know what I'm saying, but anyway, or like you feel like you have a loss of autonomy, or you feel oppressed, you feel like you're being controlled by the other person, or you feel like you're being gaslit and or manipulated in some other ways. That's clearly a very bad sign, but sometimes it's hard to note. For some people, it's difficult to know that that's happening, especially if the person you're with is highly narcissistic and they're good at doing what they're doing. They can be subtle. It can be hard to notice that that's happening at first, or it's like they're blaming things on you or kind of making you think that, well, sometimes it's hard to know you're being gaslit at the time, so, but if you do know that you are being gaslit, or you are suspecting that you feel that way, that's definitely a huge red flag, that is not okay. So, anyway, that's definitely a red flag. Another one is like, do they compare you to others? Do they, tell you, to try to make you feel bad? Or do they like, like even compare you to their exes or something, or, or to anyone? Like, well, so-and-so's like this, and you're not like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think you know what I'm saying. I probably don't have to give an example in that. Another one is like, do you feel like you can't do anything right? Sometimes it can be hard to know if you're being gaslit or manipulated, but if you notice like how you're feeling and the thoughts you're having, that can be your clue as to how you're being treated or if you are being gaslit or manipulated. So that's why I'm bringing these up. Like, do you feel like you can't do anything right? Or at least that you're doing a lot of things wrong, where you used to feel like you mostly did things right before, or but now you feel like you just can't get anything right, or you're making a lot of mistakes. Either that you just are being told you're making a lot of mistakes by your partner, or are you actually making more mistakes just in your life in general too? Both of those can be red flags that your partner is mistreating you in some way, or that you're at least not in a good compatible relationship for you. It can be a sign that you're distracted. If you actually are making more mistakes, it can be because someone is messing with you psychologically, or it can be because you're so distracted by like other negative things going on, or how stressed you are about the relationship that you're making mistakes, or are you having, or maybe you're having more accidents than you used to. Again, that can be because you're like distracted, or your energy is off, or you're kind of manifesting accidents unintentionally because maybe you're telling yourself you're accident prone because your partner has been trying to put that in your head. There's all kinds of things that can happen. Basically, these can be signs that someone's playing some sort of mind game with you, or that they're messing with you some way psychologically. It doesn't have to be that. I'm not saying, if you make more mistakes than usual, that means you're definitely being abused, but it can sometimes be a sign. So I'm just bringing that up. Or it, like, making more mistakes than usual doesn't mean on its own, it doesn't mean you're in a toxic relationship. Like, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying this can be a sign, especially combined with other things, Okay, another one is you find it hard to focus on things that you used to like or that you used to be important to you, or on things that are really important to you still, like work. Or do they encourage you to not do activities that are good for you or are important to you? You know, like, do they try to discourage you from doing things that are good for you or important to you? Or, do they encourage you to avoid them or put them off, things like that, Do they interfere with your self-care routines or negatively impact your self-care? Do you notice you have more negative or pessimistic thoughts overall, like in general? Or are you attracted to more negative things or adopting more negative habits, making choices that aren't good for you more often? In general, do you feel like you have to argue or frequently very strongly assert yourself and advocate for yourself just to be heard and for your opinions, wants, needs, and boundaries to be acknowledged and respected, and validated? If you do feel that way, that can be a big red flag, because, it probably means your partner, again, it doesn't care that much, or is, it's not good. Another sign is your memory isn't working as well as it used to. Again, that can be a sign of gaslighting. Sometimes you can think that your memory isn't working as well as it used to, because that's actually what the person is trying to make you think, when actually your memory is just fine, but they're manipulating you. That is a form of psychological abuse, so that's important to pay attention to. Now, it doesn't have to be that someone's messing with you. There are other things that can affect your memory, obviously. I'm just saying that can be a sign to pay attention to. You might just think, oh, my memory's off, but actually that's a sign that, your memory might not actually be off. It might be the other person that's trying to make you think that your memory isn't working so that they can control you more easily, or make you think things that aren't true. It can also be, though, again, that you're like so stressed out or so distracted, or your energy is so off because of the relationship not being healthy overall, that you genuinely are having memory problems. That can also happen, So anyway, things to pay attention to. Another one is like you don't feel as hopeful about the future, or you don't look forward to life like you used to. Or your energy just in general feels off. Like maybe you just notice it could be. Oh yeah, and my other one too that I think is a really big thing, and I think it's kind of a heavy thing. So I think a lot of people don't ask themselves this question, but I think it's important. It's like, if you're really honest with yourself, brutally honest with yourself, if you had a life-threatening condition, like if you had a medical emergency or you had an accident right now that was life-threatening, because to be realistic, like hopefully none of this happens to any of us, but realistically this can happen. Like if you did have that happen right now, could you trust this person with your life? Do you really feel like you could trust this person with your life? That's important. If you do not feel like you can actually trust this person with your life, this is not the one. That is for damn sure. They could, now, if you want to live with someone where you feel like you can't fully trust them with your life, that's again, you do you. It is your life, your decision. If that's what you choose as a partner, then again, that's your decision. But if you're asking, are they the one? No, they are not any sort of the one. If you feel like you can't trust them with your life, they could be a choice. They could be an option. Like you could choose to be a partner with, choose them as your partner if you want to, but are they the one? No. If you can't trust this person with your life, they are not the one. Period. The universe is never going to ask you to be with someone or try to force you together with someone or tell you should be with someone that you can't trust with your life. If you don't feel like this person would do anything and everything in their power to save your life, if you were in danger, that is not the one. That is not the one. If you do not feel like this person would stick with you in sickness and in health, they're not the one. Like if they would stick with you through an illness, or if you don't feel like they would care for you, they're not the one. But especially if you don't feel like they would try to save your life, they're not the one. Like, if you were in a fire, would they risk their life to try to get you out? If the answer is no, they're not the one. If you were in an accident, like, would they do everything in their power to help you, to save you? If you were unconscious, if you were in a coma or something, or if you were incapacitated, if you couldn't move, could you trust this person to make decisions for you? Could you trust them to care for you if you needed care? If you feel like you couldn't, or if you feel like you would be scared even about the decisions this person would make for you or how they would care for you, that's a huge thing to pay attention to, you know? If you feel like you couldn't truly count on this person to do what was best for you when you were at your most vulnerable, then they're not the one. So anyway, I hope this is helpful to someone. I have talked so much in this reading, but for some reason I felt really strongly like I was supposed to throw this out there for someone. So anyway, I trust that this will find the right people. And I do hope, I hope it will help in some way. This is going to be kind of disjointed because I keep coming up with like new things, and then it's probably not going to completely flow, guys. So I'm sorry if it's kind of jumpy or choppy, but I'm doing my best here. It's just how the messages are coming through today. If it disturbs your peace in a big way, I say it's usually a huge sign that that person is not the one. At least definitely not now. They could be a potential, maybe at some point if that person wants to change in the future. I won't say it can never align. I mean, sometimes I think people do come back around to each other, but it's definitely only an option. It means that it's not for sure, or it's not destined. So you could also detach from that person, open yourself up to new love. And if you focus on what you want to experience in love, that will help you manifest. If you don't keep your sights set on just like one specific person, and you are more open and you're just focusing on like the feelings you want to have in the relationship and how you want the person to be in the relationship, how you want to be treated, how you guys want to be together, and then the universe will usually help you align with the person that is that's easiest for you to align with right now. That's already that way, that you could have that relationship with the soonest, basically, if that makes sense. So yeah, it might be someone you were interested in before, or it might be someone new, that would better suit you, that would actually give you an experience that would be a better partner for you based on what you're looking for, So hopefully that makes sense. Because again, usually it is that sort of situation where there's a choice, not like a destiny. So hopefully this will give someone something helpful to think about and consider. And all of this basically, though, to say that, if you keep getting readings about like an ex or someone you don't want to be with, it's not the universe trying to shove them on you, or it's not some reader trying to force this person onto you. It doesn't mean like you can't ever get away from them. Usually it's just a sign that they're still in your energy, that they're still available, that they're still thinking of you, And if you wanted to say yes, or if you wanted to align, then you could. It's not the universe saying, yep, you guys are definitely meant to be together. Even if you get this person in a future spouse reading, again, everything is like potentials and most likely outcomes. So it doesn't mean like it's meant to be and that absolutely will align. Again, it's just like this could. This is available to align for you if you want to. But again, if you don't want to, you can say no, and then you can eventually align with someone else that suits you better, or that would be a better relationship for you, that is more compatible with you, that that you do want to be with, So I just wanted to say that because I do feel like people tend to get kind of upset about that, and a lot of it's unnecessary, a lot of it you don't need to feel upset about it, because I think sometimes, again, people think that they're it's almost like the universe is forcing it on them, or like this person, they kind of feel like doomed, or like this person keeps like, they feel like something's being pushed on them, and it really isn't like that. Again, it's just showing you, again, what's most strongly possible, what's most available to you at the moment based on the current circumstances. But it definitely, again, you can manifest something different, and it might take a little while, but eventually those readings probably will taper off, or at least new readings about new people will start coming through, because you will have new possibilities and you can manifest a new person and all that. Anyway, and also I wanted to mention that if that does occur, like if you do get a reading like that, or if this is your experience where you keep getting an ex and it's feeling very frustrating because it's very repetitive and you're like, I just want to get away from this person's energy, I recommend whenever that happens, saying a prayer, or, saying a prayer to your guides, saying a prayer to your higher power, whoever you pray to, or setting your intentions at least that this person will move on in peace, that they will find who they're looking for, who lines with them better, that you don't want this opportunity, and you are looking to align with a different, something different, someone different, a different opportunity. You want a different timeline, or you want a different person, or you want a different outcome. If this is like something else, like an event or something occurring, the same thing applies. Be like, no, I do not want this path. Please guide me in a way, or show me what I can do in order to align with a different path, because I do not want this outcome, or I don't want that to occur. And your spirit guides, or the universe, your higher power, will guide you. You will get signs, and you will start receiving guidance. You will start having new ideas. You will start getting like inspirations to do things in a different way, or like you'll see a new book and just feel like, I really need to read that book. You will start like little by little getting on a path to something different. When you set that intention and when you ask for it, you will receive. And little by little, if you follow those intuitive nudges, you will start making little changes that turn you onto a new path, or like open new doors for you, weave new threads in your future, or new possibilities for yourself, so that's kind of how it works. I hope this is helpful. I hope this makes some sense. Any of my readings, I don't think this reading is actually a future prediction, and I don't think it's a relationship reading either, but maybe some of you just got out of a relationship or something, but for whatever reason, this is just what was coming through. So there it is. Take from it what you will that's beneficial or helpful in some way. But yeah, so every message I give, every reading I give, is just an offering. It's an offering to you. It is not me telling you what to think or believe. At least that is never my intention. So you can just basically take or leave whatever I say. If it's helpful or beneficial to you in any way, or it sparks something for you, or confirms something for you, or gives you some extra insight into something, a different perspective, or then that's great. And you can, absorb that or do whatever you want with that. But, if it rubs you the wrong way, or it's just not for you, then that's fine too. Then it's just not for you. Then that'll be for someone else then that I was meant to connect with, I recommend that you use these readings for mostly confirmation, validation, affirmation for yourself that you are on the right track, or to like show you what you are aligning with right now, what path you're on, what trajectory you're on right now, and to remind you that you are connected to everything and that you are kind of in a co-creative dance with the universe, and you have free will and you can shape your future. And you can use these to help you manifest, to give you ideas and inspiration, perspective on something to ponder, something to explore, things to consider, things to be curious about, to learn about. You can use these just if you find them relaxing. Maybe you just like to have them on in the background, for, like maybe you just like the vibe. Like that's perfectly valid too. These can be encouraging. They can, just help you shift your thoughts to something more positive, depending on what the subject of the reading is. Just to help get your mind in a better place, which can help shift your vibration to something more positive, which usually helps attract more positive experiences, more positive opportunities to you. So that is another way these can benefit you. They can show you, again, like what the possibilities are for you right now, based on your current energy and your current path, like what's open to you, what you are currently aligning with, and what you can have. Can help you get excited about the future, which can help you to manifest those things. Can help show you what is most likely to occur in the future based on the current way things are going. And yeah, I know I said that, but basically I just wanted to reiterate it again. I wanted to say it again. There are all kinds of or maybe you just find these fun, there's all kinds of ways to use it. But I just wanted you guys to know that I'm doing this from a place of like presenting this to you. Again, like you can make of this what you will. But I'm not trying to ever force anything onto anybody. Because like I had one comment once, and I don't know, maybe it was just a troll, but someone was like, quit trying to lie to people basically, or like just say all this shit that's not true. And it's like, okay, well, first of all, it is absolutely true for somebody, or I wouldn't be getting these messages. And I happen to know for a fact that I've had these things be true for me and other people I've known. This is a real thing, and just because you are feeling negative or feel like it can't happen for you does not mean that it is untrue for somebody watching. Again, a lot of times what happens in your life is what, it's based heavily on you and your actions and your beliefs and your energy and all of that stuff. So anyway, if someone does align with any of my readings, it is because this is available to them. They could have, if my reading finds someone, it's because the universe is saying to that person, hey, you can have this. This actually is aligning for you. This is open to you. This is available to you. You can have this. They're at least showing you the possibility. That like the possibility is there. Like you, and not just like a vague possibility. Like it's a very real possibility. It's a very tangible thing that absolutely can occur for you. It's not just like, oh, maybe someday there's like a tiny sliver of a chance. No, it's like, it's a very real, solid possibility. And that's why I found you. So it makes me sad when people say that, because I'm like, listen, this reading wouldn't have found you unless this was a very real thing that can happen for you. But if you keep believing that it can't happen, you can push it away. If you are consciously pushing it away, saying, no, that's stupid, that can't happen, well, then you can block it from happening. But anyway. Oh, and I also recommend that if you are getting predictions or you are getting messages about things that you do want to have occur. Again, well, I guess I sort of already said it, but basically that is the universe's way. That's your higher power's way. That's your spirit team's way of letting you know, yes, you are on track for this. You can have this. This is a very real possibility for you. And if you keep saying, yes, I want this, you will keep being guided in a way that helps you align with this, So just keep going. You're on the right track. And if you keep saying, yes, I want this, you will keep receiving guidance. You will keep receiving intuitions. You will keep receiving signs and synchronicities and things that help you align with this, you're on track for this, basically. So hopefully, and you're getting closer and closer to it. So, you are manifesting this, or however you want to look at it, If you're not into manifesting, or you don't do that consciously, then again, it's just showing you that this is what you are, what's lining up for you, what you're aligning with, what the universe is bringing into your life, basically, So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. And I believe if you are ever aligning with these messages, if these messages find you, it's never, in my opinion and in my experience, it's never just wishful thinking. It's never just wishful thinking, because that's something that I hear people say sometimes. And it's like, it's actually not just, it's like people think, oh, this isn't possible, but I'm just watching this, because I like to dream, which is fine. That's totally valid. If you want to look at it that way, you can look at it that way. But in my opinion, if you are actually receiving these readings, if they are coming to you, if you are aligning with them, that is some force of the universe. That is something is actually trying to tell you, hey, it's not just a pipe dream. Like, it's not just, something that, it's not just wishful thinking that will never ever happen. It can actually happen for you. Like, this actually is a possibility for you. This is actually a very real possibility for you. That's why you're here. That's why you're receiving the signs and synchronicities inside this reading. This is why it feels like I'm talking to you. This is why you're vibing with it, because this is for you. Like, you could have this. There actually is a way to this future for you. There is a path that leads you to this place. It's not an impossible dream. Like, this can happen, Anyway, so I think it's a good idea to keep an open mind. If you ever get a reading where you're like, wow, I want this so badly, but I don't think it can happen. No, there's a reason you're here. It's because some force of the universe wants you to know. You can have this. It's not an impossible dream. This is a very real possibility for you. And again, if you pray for guidance, if you say, I want this so bad, please show me how to get this. Please align me with this future, or help me get there. They will. You will start receiving guidance. And again, you'll get intuitive nudges. If you follow those nudges, if you dance with the universe, if you listen to the signs, if you listen to your intuition, and you go to that one little shop that you're like, I don't know why I feel so strongly like I need to go there right now. I don't know what this is about. If you don't resist that, if you go when you feel those nudges, and it might take you a little while if you're not used to doing this. It might take you a while, or at least a little while, to start connecting with your intuition, or recognizing, oh, this is an intuitive hit. Oh, this is my intuition talking to me. I'm getting guidance, to lead me onto something, that could be something I'm hoping to experience, So it might take you a little while, but if you experiment, you will start realizing, like, you will start being able to listen to your intuition. You will start being able to connect with these signs, and not just through readings, but through everything. There are all kinds of ways you can receive messages in your everyday life, And anyway, I just wanted to mention that, like, you will start getting guidance, or, you'll just run into this book. I think I mentioned this already, or do I mention? Anyway, and that's just an example, that the whole thing about the shop in the book. those are just examples. You know, there are so many different little intuitive nudges that you might get to do certain things or explore certain things, make certain changes in your routine, or make certain changes to yourself, or, you know, heal something, or take up a new hobby, or, you know, you might get all kinds of different types of nudges, you know, or change your career or something. All kinds of things might happen that will lead you, you know, onto different paths and open up different possibilities in the future for you. But you'll get guidance basically. And little by little, you'll start transforming, or, you know, you will start doing things in your life that will bring you onto a path that will eventually align you with this really amazing thing that you wanted to experience in your future, with this really amazing person, or who, you know, whatever it is that you're hoping to experience that you've had a reading about, you know. Anyway, I'm putting a whole lot into this beginning section. I guess I'll have to put a timestamp in case you want to skip it, although I really feel like this is probably a big chunk of the message for a lot of people here. Basically, I'm not trying to force anything on anyone, and you definitely don't have to accept anything that I say, and you can push it away or say anything, you know, to yourself, at least say that things are stupid. I would appreciate it if you don't come at me in the comment section, because that's rude, and also that just seems very uncalled for, because that's not what I'm here to do, you know. I'm just here to let you know. I'm basically like I'm just a messenger, you know. So if the message finds you, there's probably a reason. And you could probably take something from this reading that would be of some benefit to you, but it is completely up to you whether you want to do that or not. Or if there is anything in here, or, you know, how it's completely up to you. I recommend just trying to be curious about anything that you see, and just ask questions to yourself. Like, how does this make me feel? Why did this message align with me? Or like, why am I aligning with this message? I wonder what this holds for me. Or I wonder if there is anything of benefit to me. Or I wonder what about my energy, what in my energy field, or what in my energy align me with this message, or cause this message to, you know, be attracted to me right now. And I recommend you pray or meditate over a message, any messages you don't understand, or anything that you're not sure about. I recommend that you develop some sort of spiritual practice for yourself to help you to better connect with yourself and your own higher power and your spirit guides, and help you to understand. Basically, I recommend you develop your own spiritual connection, you know, because I really feel like these readings should only be like a supplement to your own understanding of things already. If you don't have that foundation, then you can just end up becoming very frustrated, or even, I think, jaded or angry or confused by these readings. I really think that developing that core relationship with with some sort of, you know, having some sort of spiritual foundation of your own, you know, that's really important to getting the most out of these readings. I think that's very important to life, to getting the most out of life. And I think sometimes people use these readings almost like a crutch, or as like a substitute, try to use it as a substitute for actually developing their own relationship with their creator, you know, or with the divine, with the universe. And I think that that's the wrong way. In my opinion, that's not a beneficial way. I think it usually don't get great results when you try to do that, is my opinion. So, I mean, again, you have free will, you can do what you want, but I highly recommend that you pursue some sort of spiritual practice on your own. In addition, if you're going to be watching like these types of readings, I really highly recommend you do some sort of spiritual practice on your own. Again, whether that is religion or just some other type of spiritual practice, mindfulness practices, yoga, meditation, but do something spiritual, basically. Like, in some way, make an effort to connect with the divine, connect with the Most High, connect with God, connect with Spirit, connect with whatever name you give to it, but the divine creator, your higher self, your spirit guides, the universe. But I just think that's incredibly important. Not just to get the most out of these readings, but to get the most out of life. Like, I just really, really think that's important. So, I'm not here to get people to like rely on me. I would much prefer that people rely on their own intuition and form their own connection with the divine, and then just use my readings as like an extra, like just a part of it, like an extra little confirmation or a friendly face that the universe has used to tell you, hey, yeah, we're with you, and you're right, you are on the right path. This is aligning for you. This is happening. This is coming, and remind you that the world is magical, that it's not all what you see. There is so much cool stuff going on all the time. There are spirit guides, and there are all kinds of, there's just all kinds of things going on all the time that, signs and synchronicities and ways that the universe is trying to always communicate with you. And this is only one way to do that. This is only one way to get those kinds of signs and cool experiences that remind you, hey, you're not alone, and the world isn't just atoms and flesh and things that you can touch and sense with your five senses, like there's way more going on. We're multi-dimensional beings, and there's a lot more going on than meets the eye most of the time. And if you're aware of those things, then life can be even cooler than it is. It can be so much more beautiful, and there's just so much more depth to it, and wild, amazing, cool things can happen that that's exciting and can inspire you, and it can it can produce, I don't know if produce is the right word. What word am I looking for? But basically that makes you feel awe and wonder, and all that cool stuff. I mean, there are so many mysteries to dig into, and it's really amazing what you can uncover if you seek. And yeah, so anyway, basically, I hope you will seek. I hope you will explore. And I hope you find something that now I'm hearing this song. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. Yeah, okay, well I do. I guess I think that's like what the universe wants you to do too. It's like they want you to dance. Dance the dance of life. They want you to dance with them. Dance with the universe. Dance with yourself. Dance with others. Dance with life. And stand in wonder at the entire majesty of and miracle that is life and that is everything. I mean, if you just really look at it, the universe is so vast and there's just so much to everything. Everything's so complicated and intricate and beautiful and immense. And it's just, everything is so, it's just amazing, you know? And I see these readings as just one way to remind yourself that there are so many amazing things out there, and also to show you like what amazing things could be happening for you. You know, it's basically like a little forecast and letting you know, hey, again, you can have this. This is what's available to you. And the fact that this can find you and that I can tap into this, and then this that I've tapped into that can then find its way to you, is the universe's way of letting you know, hey, cool stuff is happening, you know, life's kind of magical and kind of mysterious, very mysterious in a lot of ways. And maybe that's kind of a good thing. Maybe we're not supposed to know all the answers all the time, but the journey of asking and questioning, seeking, a lot of fun can be had from that, or a lot of very meaningful, fulfilling experiences can come from all that. Okay, I feel like now I'm really going off on many tangents, and I need to get back to the original reading. Although this is part of the reading, I think a lot of you have been thinking these types of thoughts, or have been exploring this, or maybe this is kind of your philosophy on this, or maybe this has just really sparked something for you. Maybe you're new to this stuff, I don't know, and maybe the universe just wanted you to have this perspective to consider, to explore, or to at least take something from that, and build upon that, or explore that, whatever you want to do with it. But all right, we're going to move on to the rest of the reading now, because I think it is about a spiritual awakening, actually, or like a spiritual expansion, or something about spiritual gifts unlocking, or something like that. So anyway, I guess this does kind of, it does kind of tie in with the rest of the reading now that I think about it. At least I think that's what it was about. It's been a while since I did this one as I'm editing it. It's been like a month, I think, since I filmed this one, because I had to take a break. And anyway, all right, back to the original reading. Now we will get into the message. So, the first thing I was getting was, well, actually it was interesting, because when I sat down to do this reading, at first I thought it was going to be a really upbeat, like uplifting message. Like I thought it was going to be another fun one, because that was the type of message I was getting at first. I thought it was going to be a message about someone who wants to kiss you. And I was like, oh, this is going to be another fun one. And I was kind of excited. And then all of a sudden, this energy hit me, and I felt really heavy, and I felt more tired, and I felt kind of like I was going to cry. And my sinuses, like I sound like I have a stuffy nose now, and I just, like I kind of sound like I was crying, but I wasn't. So I feel like that's part of the reading, because I was feeling pretty good. So also this is a very strange message, but this could be a confirmation for someone. Well, either you were just crying, or you have been feeling very sad, or you've been feeling sick. Maybe you've had like some sort of sinus thing going on, or, some sort of respiratory illness. I know a lot of people have, but yeah, if you have had that, then maybe this is your message. Also, if you've just been feeling maybe really, really tired, really drained, and maybe you're not even sure why right now. Either that, or again, this is very specific and but this is just one of the messages coming through. If you're ovulating right now, like if you know, I don't know, guys, but like if you know that you're ovulating right now, or like you're in your fertile window, or you're going to ovulate like really soon, but that's like a confirmation for you. I don't know, like that might be why you don't feel good. I don't know. It could be something like that. Although, I I don't know, but that's just what I'm getting. So that would be like a confirmation for you if you knew that. So, all right. But now on to the message. The rest of the message, I guess, is that I feel like I was hearing ascension. I was also hearing awakening and activation. So those are all three of those are A words, but I was just getting that. Yeah, I'm hearing it's not random. Wonder what that means. Man, maybe some of you have been getting signs or something about something. Or it's like something's been happening and you've been thinking it's random, or maybe it's like it's not, or intuitively you've thought, I don't think this is random. Or it's sort of like there's a part of you that knows it's not random, but you've been maybe telling yourself it's random. Or you've been like maybe just trying to I'm getting something where you're not, maybe you haven't been sure about something, or you've been just trying to shove something to the side or tell yourself it's random or it doesn't mean anything, or, oh, I'm sure it's just a coincidence, or I'm sure it's just it doesn't mean anything or something. Or it's like you're just really not sure. You're not sure which one it is. You're not sure if it does mean something or if it doesn't. Is it just random? Is it not? But I feel like for the people I'm connecting into the most here, a lot of you have felt like it's like you have told yourself that it's random, but it's not. Whatever this is. Maybe we'll get some more details about what this means, but I'm getting, maybe you've been getting signs about something, or like really strong synchronicities. It's like the universe is speaking to you, or your guides, your higher power, the universe. You have been getting, you are getting signs, or maybe a person is trying to send you signs or something. I'm not sure if this is like a relationship thing for some of you. Like maybe you're wondering, like, is someone flirting with you? Are they not? Are you reading the signs wrong? Or like, is there something there? I don't know. That could be something for some of you. But I'm getting for a lot of you, it's like no, but this feels more spiritual. This feels, well, for some of you, this could involve a romantic connection, but it's more than that. There's like, you're getting signs about more than just one thing. I do feel like if you're here, most likely you're going through some sort of spiritual awakening or some sort of spiritual upgrade. You're going through an ascension is just what that's the word they're using again. So you're up-leveling in some way, or you're expanding, you're growing, you're attaining more knowledge, your energy is maybe opening up more, or your mind is being opened to new things, or you're becoming aware of things that you weren't aware of before. You're upgrading, though, in some way. You're leveling up. You're becoming more spiritually aware, is what I'm getting. There's like another level or another layer that you weren't aware of before that you're becoming aware of now. Or this could be kind of like a first time thing for some of you. I was getting clairs. So for some of you, you might actually be unlocking some sort of clair. Clairs being things like clairaudience, sentience, why am I forgetting the clairs now? Clairvoyance, that's most people are familiar with that clair. Why do I always forget this clear? I have this clear, but I always forget what it's called. Anyway, I'm not going to wait around for myself to be able to remember. You can look them up, but basically, you might be getting some sort of clair, or it's like that's being activated for you, or that is happening. Maybe you're getting a new one that you haven't had before, or maybe you're getting one for the first time or something, or you're getting multiple clairs unlocked at once. I'm not sure what's going on here. For some of you, this feels kind of, yeah, or like your third eye is opening. Either, yeah, I'm hearing decalcification. So for some of you, this could have something to do with your pineal gland or pineal gland. I forget how I think I've heard it pronounced both ways, but that gland, you know, that's kind of in line with your third eye. Maybe there's something about that might be physically like decalcifying, or like maybe it was kind of calcified before, or there was something. I've heard of that happen. Like people have talked about that. So, or maybe that's something you've been working on, or maybe you've been doing something else to try to activate your third eye, but there's something to do with that gland. And there's something to do with your third eye for sure is coming through. So, you're definitely sharpening your intuition, or you're becoming more intuitive. This does feel like some sort of psychic gift, or again, like intuitive gift. If you're not comfortable with that word, it's something like that though, is awakening for you. Or again, like expanding, it's becoming more. So if you were wondering about that, yes, that is happening, or that's like about to start. That process is occurring for you. Yeah, and I'm getting like for some of you, maybe you've been trying to unlock some sort of clair, or you've been trying to kind of activate this, or maybe you were kind of hoping this would happen for you for a while. This doesn't have to be the case for all of you, but I am getting for some of you, maybe you've been trying to get this to happen actually, or you like maybe you've been doing a lot of meditation, or you've been doing some sort of exercises to try to strengthen your intuition or open your third eye. I'm getting something to do with the crown chakra too, but I'm getting mostly upper chakras. Like maybe you've been working a lot on your upper chakras, or in some way you've been trying to, like unlock clairs, unlock some sort of psychic gift, expand it, unlock your intuition, strengthen your intuition, things like that, you know? Or maybe you've been working on telepathy, or you've been, I wondered, you were wondering if you were receiving a sign, or you were thinking, you were like kind of pushing something away. For some of you, you're pushing something. Oh, and now I'm hearing a blue jay. Yes, you guys are receiving some sort of psychic message, or, I heard psychic download. So for some of you, maybe you're going to be getting like some big dream, or you're going to get a vision or something, or you're going to see something in meditation that's like a really big answer for you, or like a really big sign. Or maybe you already did get this and you're not sure if this was real is something that I heard, or like you're not sure if you can trust it, or you're not sure what it means. I am getting that. Oh, now I'm hearing sirens for real. I'm actually hearing sirens in the background. Now I feel like I'm going to cry again. Okay, this is a really strong this won't be for everyone here. This is only one collective, part of the collective that I'm picking up on. But for some of you, this could have something to do with like a health scare that you had, or some sort of, okay. Yes, it is. Okay. For some of you, this is related to some sort of health struggle that you've had. This might have been this could be like an acute illness or an accident, or some other sort of, or a chronic illness, whatever it is though. I'm getting that it's actually something to do with your health. It's connected to this up leveling, or it's connected to your awakening, or your ascension, whatever word you want to give to it. But it's like something about that experience is facilitating this expansion, or this growth, this up leveling, or this unlocking of some sort of ability or spiritual gift or spiritual awareness. For some of you, it could have even been something really serious. Trigger warning, I'm going to talk, I'm not going to talk in detail, but I'm just going to mention something about an accident or some sort of, anyway, there you might have had a near-death experience, or again, something very serious, where maybe you were in a hospital, or at least you were worried you were going to have to be, or something. But there's something where like your body was under a lot of strain, and it could have been a situation that where like you've never felt that sick before, or you've never felt that vulnerable, or like that scared, or that helpless, basically, is what I'm getting. Or for some of you, this could have been like the first time where you really fully connected with your mortality, or, had the sense, had a sense of being so vulnerable, or had a sense that like you could, maybe you wouldn't come back from this or wouldn't recover. It could be something like that, basically, is what I'm getting. And I'm getting maybe that could have been that could have activated you, basically. Sometimes when we have traumas or situations like that, or near-death experiences, that is a catalyst, or that is something that can really kickstart a spiritual awakening, or it can unlock certain abilities, or, basically things like clairs and psychic abilities, telepathy, things like that can strengthen or get unlocked for the first time when you go through a situation like that, basically. That's not that unheard of. That's actually pretty, I don't know if I want to say it's common. I think from what I've heard, it is pretty common for something like that to happen. So, I know for me, when I've had I've had more than one near-death experience, and I know that I did experience like things intensified after that. So, I had my clairs since I was born. Well, I couldn't communicate when I was born, obviously, so we don't know for sure. But from my earliest ability to communicate, I have had my clairs, and I've had, I've had precognitive dreams, and I have had a sense or just known things before they happened. And I would do that from the time I was okay, sorry guys, the memory card filled up, so I don't know if I'm in the same spot I was in before, and I don't know, I can't remember exactly where I was, but basically, maybe some of you need to eat something too, because now I feel really hungry, even though I just ate. It has not been that long since I I should not be hungry, but I am. So maybe some of you, that's just a message for some of you. Or like if you were hungry, this would be a synchronicity for you. That, another sign that that you're connected to this reading, but you don't have to be. And basically, whether you went through a health issue, a health crisis or not, you're going through some sort of spiritual awakening or ascension, or again, some sort of upgrade, leveling up, expansion, something like that. And this could have been some sort of emotional trauma that happened too. It doesn't have to have been like an accident or a literal near-death experience. It could have been even like a really bad relationship or something like that, like an abusive relationship, or like a relationship with someone who is highly narcissistic or something like that. That could be like a trigger or a catalyst for this as well. Or if something happened to one of your loved ones, could be the case for some of you too. Like if one of your loved ones maybe had an accident or a near-death experience or something like that. But I was feeling like for most of you, this is probably something that happened to you, but just take where it resonates. So this would just be your confirmation, I guess. I'm going to try to see if I can get some more details. Okay, no, there's another detail. There's another message coming through. For some of you, I'm supposed to let you know, or this will be a confirmation for you, or something it's at least something to consider. You don't have to take anything in any reading as fact. These are just things for you to consider, or confirmations, So if it doesn't feel right to you, then that is your indication that it's probably not your message, or this might just not be the right time to hear it, one or the other. But most likely it's just not your message if it doesn't feel right. But for some of you, I'm getting that the reason, or it's sort of like, I'm getting for some of you, this happened so that you could expand, so that you could spiritually expand, or so that you could have this activation, or this, basically so that this could happen for you. I'm getting for some of you, it's like something physical. It's like confirmation burp. So for some of you, it's like you had, okay. I'm getting for some of you, you did have to have this occur in order for this to be unlocked for you. It's like this wasn't going to unlock for you unless unless this actual physical thing occurred for you. It's sort of like, I was mentioning something about the pineal gland. I don't know if this has anything to do with that, or I'm also getting something about your cerebrospinal fluid or something. I'm not sure, but there's something about I think what they're trying to tell me is that there's a physical component to these like psychic experiences. And it's like your body wasn't, because I'm hearing container. It's like the container, your body being the container, I guess, wasn't it's like there had to be a physical alteration, or there had to be an event that occurred within your body in order to prepare it or make it I heard, or I don't know if that's the right way to say it. How do you want me what are the right words for what I'm trying, like, I'm trying to come up with the right words for what they're trying to convey to me. It's like, they're just saying basically the structure wasn't right, or there was I keep seeing like a switch, like a flipping of a switch, basically. So again, the whole activation message, but they're saying it wasn't possible until there was like some sort of physical event that occurred within the body that kind of made it possible for these things to come online. It's like there was a physical, I know I've said that a lot, but I'm trying to I just keep getting prompted to repeat it. So it's like, I'm hoping this is going to make sense to you. It's like there was a physical change, or there was something that happened in your body when this illness occurred, or when this event occurred, or emotional trauma or something. I'm basically getting, it feels like the pain was the trigger. It's like the trauma itself, I don't know, I'm getting something about like the chemicals that, or that there was like an alteration to your brain or something, or like you were, it might have to do with like your neurological, like a change, neurological change, like something was wired differently, and that is actually allowing you to experience these types of spiritual experiences, or like allowing you to experience them more intensely, because there's been like a neurological change, and there are neurological changes, that happen when you do go through a trauma, but like you might only, it's not just trauma that, there are like gifts that come along with this as well. It's like there are shifts, neurological changes that happen when you're traumatized that are very difficult, that can make life very challenging, and take a long time to heal sometimes. But it also shifts you in a way where you can have these experiences, these spiritual experiences, and kind of like psychic experiences more. It can unlock clairs and mediumship abilities, and all kinds of things can come online when we go through things like this. So I think that's what I'm getting is happening for who I'm reading for. But it's interesting how they were really emphasizing how it's like there needed to be a structural change. It's not like it's like the neurons in your brain, or the synapses, or there's some change in fluids or hormones or chemicals or whatever it is, though, but there was like a literal change, like a physical change that has facilitated, that's like made it possible for you to have these types of experiences now. Yeah, it's like I'm getting, without this type of event, or you might not have been able to unlock these gifts, or unlock, basically you might not have been able to experience these things, which I don't know where you're at right now. So maybe you're thinking that's, you would have preferred to just not have this experience, or and not go through that, which I can completely understand. That's valid. But I'm just getting that this was part of your path. If you're here listening to this, it's like you kind of chose this before you incarnated, or this was like part of your destiny. And that's why this occurred. And that for some of you, it's like it occurred this way. For others of you, if you didn't go through a trauma or something, because I was getting more than one scenario here, or if you didn't have an illness, or if it wasn't something like that, there might have been something else that happened, like some other sort of trauma, or there could have been, or like if you've been trying to awaken these things or unlock these things for a while. I'm getting, it's been a slow, I'm getting, for some of you, if you haven't been through a trauma or you haven't been through, a serious illness or something like that, then there's something where, if it's been like a very slow process for you where you've been trying to unlock these things and make this happen, or like, expand your spiritual awareness or your psychic gifts or whatever it is, if that's been taking a while and you feel like you're not making any progress, or you've just not been sure, you're not really feeling it, you're like, I don't know, am I experiencing anything or am I not? Or like, why is this taking? I'm getting it's probably not. I'm just getting like, if you feel like it's been slow, it's because there have been physical changes that needed to occur within your physical vessel, within your body, in order for you to have these experiences. It's like the infrastructure. Yeah. I think this is similar to a message I got before. And it makes a lot of sense because there are physical changes that do have to occur within your body. Does have to be physically different than, or it has to become capable of having these experiences. I mean, it is capable of it, but it's like, it does have to do, some things do have to change sometimes, or they have to, there is a physical component to this, basically, to having these experiences. So, and I think that, again, that's why the message about the pineal gland was coming through, and why they were mentioning, and again, like the cerebrospinal fluid, there was something they wanted me to talk about, mention that there are physical things that happen within the body that make these things possible, basically, specifically within the brain, but also in the spine. And, I mean, there's all kinds of things that happen within the body that make these things possible. But I mean, I'm not an expert on this, but this is what I was channeling through. And I have read some stuff about this too. I haven't dug super deep into this because I just haven't been guided to do that. And I've had other priorities and other things I was led to first. So, I don't have a lot of knowledge on this, but this is just what was coming through to me. So if you looked into it, I'm sure you would probably find more information on this. I'm not sure how much of this kind of thing would be in this book, but you might want to read the book, You Are the Placebo, Making Your Mind Matter, I think is the name of the book. It's by Dr. Joe Dispenza, or you might want to look into some of his work. I haven't read it, but I've read like portions of it, and I've like seen videos and stuff, and I've seen like speeches that he's given and things like that, like on YouTube. And anyway, so, and I'm not saying that I agree with everything that he says or everything that he teaches. I think there is some room for criticism there, but I do think that there are portions of what he presents. I think there are things that he talks about that could be helpful information for a lot of people. I think there's a lot of good stuff in there too. I think the types of things he talks about shouldn't be used by the average person like as a standalone sort of treatment for things. I think that it can be helpful as like a supplement, or like in addition to things that you're already doing to treat certain health conditions and stuff. But I think for most people, it's not wise for them to try to use something like that alone, like the entire, like I think the average person is going to need more help than that from like a traditional medical treatment, and some people have tried to use his techniques in place of medical treatment. And I think that's where the controversy comes in, because I think for most people, again, that's probably not a wise choice. But for some of us, I will say, like for me, techniques like what he is talking about have helped me to heal more than anything any doctor has ever given me. So, but that's just my personal experience. And I had to be in a place where I basically couldn't access medical care in order to be kind of pushed to that place, because I literally couldn't get any other sort of care. So I know these things do help, but I was already very practiced I already had a lot of, like, I was born with clairs, and I was skilled at meditation and connecting to my body already. So I think I was already set up for, and most people, or I will at least say a lot of people, are not in today's world. So, I think that's why a lot of people get upset with his work, because they're like, that's like unethical, or it's not good to tell people that they can just use this, like just meditate and everything will heal, because that's not the case for, again, I don't think a lot of people that will work for, because you need, like, it takes time and practice, I think, a lot of times. So it's not like an easy thing to just snap your fingers and do, and a lot of things require more immediate treatment. So anyway, but you might, if you look into his work, you might find things that would be beneficial or, helpful, at least to look at it from a standpoint of like, okay, well, maybe I can at least try out portions of what he's saying and just see if it helps in addition to what I'm already doing or something like that, So I'm not sure all of what's in that book, but you might find that interesting. I just felt like I was supposed to mention that. Or if you do search for him, you might find a different book or a different video or a different author or teacher or something. When you're looking for Dr. Joe Dispenza, you might find something else that also helps you or gives you the information you're looking for, something like that. Like if you look for one thing, the universe might guide you through that to something else, so just like follow your intuition, follow the path, see where it leads you maybe. Anyway, I'm getting, it's like your body needed to upgrade, or your body has had to make some shifts in order for you to have these sorts of things unlock for you. And I'm getting that if it's been a slow process, it's been like that for a reason, because if you had it happen all at once, it may have been too shocking for you. Or for some people, it's like when they're spiritual, when things like clairs or things like that start happening for them, if it happens all at once, it overwhelms them, and it can be kind of an intense experience to the point where sometimes people even have things happen like, like psychotic breaks and stuff. And we don't want that, so it's good to keep, grounded throughout the process and not have things, I'm just getting that it may not have been healthy for you, or it might have been too much all at once. If it had happened as quickly as you were hoping it would happen. So I'm just getting, that's why it's a slower process for you, because I think your spirit guides, are looking out for you and trying to make sure that this happens in like the safest way for you, and happens in a way where, again, it doesn't feel too intense, or it doesn't overwhelm you too much, or in a way that your body can catch up with it, so that your body is in, again, maybe these changes had to occur within your body before you could actually start having these more psychic experiences, is what I'm getting. Also, there are things that can happen if you're not in a more of a high vibrational state. When these things get unlocked, you can go through things, like there are things out there. I mean, we try to focus on the positive, but there is a darker side to things too, just like there is with everything. And, there are things like psychic attacks and spiritual warfare and things that people can experience, and they can go through that more if they're not in a high vibrational state, if they're not in like a good, comfortable, at peace, emotional state overall in their life. Then when these types of things occur, it can really mess with you and be something very challenging to go through. So, and with those types of challenges, you do gain strength and wisdom and all kinds of things. So it's not like you can't gain anything beneficial from it, but I'm just getting for you guys, maybe your journey, your spiritual journey is meant to be more peaceful and not fraught with as many challenges or negative experiences or suffering in general. So anyway, that could be why it's been a slower process. Like if you've been trying to have a spiritual awakening or trying to unlock clairs or psychic gifts, this could be why it's been a slower process for you. So I'm just getting it is happening. So if you're in the group of people where you're trying to unlock things, but it's a slow process, or you're not as far as you want to be, or something like that, I'm just getting it is happening. This is your confirmation. It is happening for you. And it's a slower process because your body's like trying to make some changes or catch up in some way. And this could be your energy bodies as well. Like it doesn't have to be just your like cells and things like that. This could also be like your aura or your chakras or your meridians, other parts of your energy system as well. But it is happening for you. There goes. Can you hear the blue jay in the background? I'm not sure, but there goes the blue jay again. So it's another confirmation. You are psychic. I feel like that's what I'm supposed to tell you. You are. Or it's like, well, in my opinion, it's my belief that everybody is. Everybody has that capability, at least some degree of it. And it's like any other type of skill. You just have to develop it. But the way I look at it is like some people, I see it as kind of like some people are born, almost like born knowing how to play the piano. It's rare, but it's like some people, some kids, you start teaching them piano and they become, they're like a prodigy. They just take to it. It's almost like they've played like they've played the piano for lifetimes, and they just become really, really good at it, like right away, and surpass people who've been doing it for years and years, So it's like every once in a while you just there's a kid like that. There's a person like that that's just really, really talented, or, that's just kind of almost like they've done it in a past life, or it's like they just came in knowing how to do it. And that's just how it is for them. Like that's just the way it was supposed to go for them for whatever reason. They just came in that way. And I think that's kind of how it is for people who are like, seem more psychic from the time they're tiny. It just is that way. Basically, for some people, they just kind of come in that way. And for others, you have to work at it a bit more to get it, to develop it. But everyone can develop these sorts of things, at least to a certain degree, So I think it kind of depends on what you wanted to do in this life, I think that can be a huge factor in whether or not you come in super sensitive to energy and, with some sort of psychic gift, or as, something like that, or as a medium. I think it really just depends on what you're here for, like what kind of journey are you here for? What kind of experiences did you want to have? What adventure did you want to have here? Like who did you want to be this time around? Like what are you here for, basically? Because, if you're here for, it's very challenging to be in this world and be highly sensitive. At this time on this planet, it's very harsh and, it's very hard to survive and be independent and be okay when you're highly sensitive. I mean, anyone who is neurodivergent knows that it's challenging. It poses a lot of, it's hard to just function sometimes. So, and that can be the case if you're highly sensitive to energy and you're just highly sensitive in general. It can be hard. So you have all these really cool experiences, and it's a very rich, beautiful life experience to be able to connect with all of this spiritual stuff. But at the same time, it can be very painful and make just practical things in life very difficult. And maybe, I feel like some people, that's not what they wanted. It's like they wanted to have a different type of life experience. It's like they're here for something else. And having this high level of sensitivity would make it really difficult to accomplish other types of experiences that they wanted to have here, or at least maybe they decided not to come in super sensitive and because they wanted to do some things in their life first, and then maybe they choose to awaken later or choose to open up more and become more sensitive later. And then once they have maybe more tools or more support around them or something to help them out when they go through this awakening or transition or becoming more sensitive, or they have more of like a financial support system already or something like that, I'm just saying there are a lot of different reasons why I think a soul, a consciousness might decide to incarnate not having these gifts or not being able to be super psychic or not having this high level of sensitivity. Like there are pluses and minuses to everything. So I think it really just depends on, I think it's just a preference, or like what adventure, what journey, what experience did you want to have here basically this time? Or, and again, for some people, it's like you want a little bit of both. So you might awaken later, or, I just think, basically, I'm just saying, I think that's why it varies from person to person and why we all have some sort of capability, but not necessarily to this same degree, And I think for some people, they probably never will. At least within one lifetime, probably. It's like I do feel like some people will never reach a certain degree as other people within a certain lifetime. I just really think it depends, And sorry if this is getting rambly. It's getting late, and we are in the shadow of Mercury retrograde again, and I am feeling it. I am really feeling it. It's funny. Excuse me. Literally the other day. Like I started feeling it, I think last week, and I was like, oh no, why is this happening to me? I'm like, it feels like Mercury retrograde. And my mom is like, yeah, we're almost in the shadow. I'm like, I knew it. Oh my gosh, I felt it like even before the shadow technically started. It was like 2 or 3 days before, but that's usually how it is for me. It's usually pretty intense. For some people, I know they don't notice it as much, but I usually experience a lot from it. Even when I don't know it's coming, so it's not like psychological where I'm like, oh, I'm anticipating it because I know when it's going to happen. It's like, no, I just literally feel it, even though I have no idea when it's coming. Like cognitively, I don't know, like I'm not conscious of it. I just literally do feel it when it comes. So anyway, maybe that's relevant to some of you too. I don't know. Or maybe some of you just like listening to me ramble. I don't know what it is, but here we are. I'm going to move on now. And there are other theories about certain things about spiritual gifts and why some people have come in with them unlocked and other people don't. Some people think it's because you've developed them in past lives, and so you're able, or almost like permitted, or you're able to bring them for with you into this lifetime. Or it's like it's a continuation of a past life, so you just kind of come in that way, because I just kind of think it's whatever your story was meant to be this lifetime, kind of whatever you mapped out before you incarnated. I feel like that's what kind of determines whether you have those gifts when you're born or not. But there are other theories about, like there are other reasons or other theories about why that happens and why it happens for some and not others, or why. Anyway, but, excuse me, we can't know anything about that for absolute certain. So it's just theories and beliefs. But there's no way to have like concrete factual knowledge about this. So it's just basically about what resonates with you as truth. And what a lot of other people seem to think about it. One of the things that kind of bugs me about the spiritual community a lot of times is that there are so many people that talk as though they know everything, or they talk as though like, this is the fact, this is what it is. And this is what bugs me about organized religion sometimes too, is people talk as though it's fact, or as though there's just no room for questioning, or there's no room for like examination. And it's like, there should be room for questioning. There should be room for doubt even, or like a closer, there should be room for differing opinions, and to not like attack people because of that, or be against people. It's like, I just think there should be room for logic, and there should be room for discussion, and an acknowledgement that none of us as humans can possibly know any of this for sure. All you can know as a human is that you're experiencing something. All you can really know is whatever you think is happening, basically. I mean, everything that we experience, everything that we perceive comes through our brain. So the only thing we can know for sure that exists is our mind. But everything else could turn out to not be real, even. I mean, that's just sense. Like, if you think about it, if you really think about it, like you can't know anything for sure except that your mind exists and that you think you know what's happening, but everything else could turn out to not even be what we think of as real. It's real within your mind, but it might not actually be tangibly what you think it is. Like people talk about this all being a simulation, or it's the Matrix and all that stuff. It could be. The whole thing is, you can't know. You can't know for sure. You just can't. So from that perspective, I just try to be more open-minded and be like, well, you know what? I know what I feel is truth, and I know what makes the most sense to me. But I mean, I try to leave at least a little doorway open for other possibilities, because I know I can't know anything for sure, and neither can anybody else. So it's just about what seems most likely, what makes the most sense, and what the most people agree with, I think, and why, I try to examine why they think the way they do, why this is their belief, how they came to this conclusion. And then I examine the same thing, and then I try to intuitively feel out what feels right to me, what feels like kind of hits me as truth. And that's how I make decisions. And that's, and I also use my own experiences, my own personal experiences, to make these judgments and stuff. And I use critical thinking skills and all that. And that's how I arrive at these things. But I feel like a lot of people don't do that as much as I kind of wish they did. And so I feel like, I don't know why I even went off. Maybe some of you have been feeling that. Oh, you know what? Because I was getting, for some of you, this might be kind of like a newer process for you, or like a newer experience. Like maybe you haven't had these sorts, maybe this is like your first spiritual awakening, or, you know, everything's kind of more new to you. And maybe that is something that you've noticed about the spiritual community that bugs you, or maybe you're a more logical person, or you were maybe even someone who didn't believe in this stuff before, or you were at least more skeptical. Now I'm like crying again. That's weird. Which is completely valid. You know, I think that's good. I think it's good to have one foot in each, at least like one foot in each world. At least that's what I've found to be the most helpful, or the best way to go about things for me, at least. I just think balance is a good thing. So in general, so that's what I try to do. And yeah, maybe like you're more analytical or something. And so, or you were, or you probably still are to some degree, but maybe now you're more open than you were, because you had something happen and it was such a big thing, or you've been noticing a lot of things. And well, basically, you know, you've been going through some sort of spiritual awakening, or again, like an awareness that you didn't have before. And yeah, so maybe I'm just kind of picking up on. Okay, guys, I have no idea what just happened, but there was like a little beep, like a little sound. I don't know if you heard that, but that, I've replayed it so many times now, and I swear it was not there in the room. I don't think it was, I didn't react to it. So I don't think it was, and I'm looking at my throat and stuff. I don't think it was me. I don't think it didn't sound like me, and it didn't look like I made that noise. So I actually don't know what made that noise. That was so weird. I'm not saying it was an EVP, guys, but I actually have caught things like that before, because I live, there's a cemetery like really close. So, and I am a medium, so I don't do a whole lot of that work anymore, but sometimes I still do. So anyway, that was wild though. I caught an orb one time that was like crazy. I mean, it was so obviously an orb. There's no question. Like, it literally appeared on camera. Like, you could see it literally come out of nothing, and it just appears, and then it comes like, it forms like a ball, and then it comes from like behind me, and it crossed in front of me, and I watched it as it crossed in front of me on camera. It was crazy. And I caught it on camera, and that was great. So anyway, I don't know what that just was though. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say that's what it was, because I can't like prove that there wasn't anything else going on in the room, but that might have been, oh my gosh, that's so weird. Oh my gosh, this is a thing. No. Well, maybe, yeah, for some of you, maybe you are a medium. Like, that might be one of your main things that's happening for you. Or maybe this is a confirmation for you if you are some sort of like paranormal investigator, or if that's something you're interested in. Maybe you're going to get into that. Like, maybe that's how you first started getting into this stuff or something, and now you're going to be getting more. You're going to be having more spiritual experiences. So, like, maybe you investigated these things and kind of explored some paranormal stuff through, you know, like recordings and having contact with things that way, but you might be starting to get more like, you know, like other types of psychic experiences now. I don't know. This won't be for everyone, clearly, but I just had to point that out because that was really interesting. Okay, moving on. Oh, no, I'm not. I just want to say, like, even if that wasn't an EVP, like, even if that wasn't something paranormal, I still feel like I was supposed to deliver that message. I feel like that was still part of the message, like, to acknowledge that for someone here that you know, might be interested in that or something. Your thoughts about that, or maybe you just you can resonate with that, is feeling like maybe that's one thing that kind of turns you off or something when it comes to this, you know, this type of spiritual thing, for lack of a better word. It's like because a lot of people seem so rigid, or it seems like a lot of people are saying these things that you feel like probably aren't completely true, and they're acting like it is, or they're trying to pass it off as though it is like this unquestionable fact or something, and maybe that bothers you. And I can understand, because that's one of my pet peeves too. I just think it's always important for there to be room for questioning and for examining, re-examining things that we think are true, and room for differing viewpoints. Because I think if there isn't, that's how you get scary people in power that just like keep people afraid and oppressed, and afraid to, because people are afraid to ask questions, and then we all stay stuck in lies, and so anyway, I just think it's really important to always to keep that openness, at least a certain degree of openness about any sort of subject. But especially when we're talking about things where you can't really study it that much or have that many facts, like something with spirituality, it's just kind of like whatever feels like truth to you. I mean, you can't really prove most of this stuff. It's just like what you feel or what you've experienced or what you've read that other spiritual teachers thought that they experienced. Or, you can report certain things, like you can read about miracles and things that other people observed happening, but there's still question about what actually produced that event, what actually produced that miracle is still something that you can't necessarily prove. It doesn't matter if there's like a book or a religious text, because again, it was a human being that said they were channeling a deity, that said they were channeling a higher power, that wrote that book. And again, you can't prove that. You cannot prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that that is what actually happened. Again, you can believe it, you can think it, you can feel it, but you can't actually really prove it. At the end of the day, it's just it's just another theory that you hope is true, or that you feel is true, you think is true, but it's different than. That's why I just think, again, it shouldn't be so rigid. Like, there should be room for differing opinions and viewpoints, and things should be open for interpretation, and there should be room for reason. It's just basically how I feel. You can test things out for yourself, and you can have, you can confirm things for yourself, but that doesn't mean you can actually necessarily prove it to other people. I mean, like, you can't actually really have proof that like an archangel comes to you in a dream and gives you a message about something. Now you can give the prediction that you got, and if that comes to pass, then that seems to suggest that you are getting some sort of information about the future, and that's definitely interesting, and there's something is going on there, especially if it happens multiple times. But can you prove that it's necessarily like an archangel, like an angel of the Lord has come to you and given you that information? Not necessarily. You can say that you think, you can say you think that's what happened because someone came to you in a dream saying they were Archangel Michael, and numerous other people throughout history have reported the same things, even though they didn't know each other or didn't know that, so like there is something going on that kind of suggests maybe that is a thing. Maybe there are archangels. More than one culture has reported like very similar experiences from like the same type of being. And anyway, point is, there's like some evidence, but probably not enough that you're going to like actually convince someone who's skeptical. And I can understand that. Like, if I hadn't had it happen myself, if I hadn't had certain experiences myself, it would be really hard for me to believe someone else about it too. So like, I get that. But also as somebody who has experienced certain things, when I was skeptical before, I can say like a lot of things it is frustrating sometimes because I do feel very strongly like certain things are true, but I also accept that, it's not something I'm probably going to be able to convince someone else of if they haven't actually experienced it. So basically, I think it's good to question, and I think it's good to still use your analytical mind, or still, keep thinking about things, and not just take like one person's word for it, or not just be like, okay, well, this is the way it is because this one teacher, or even a couple teachers said this. So, or this one spiritual leader that's highly respected says this is how it is, so this must be how it is. Instead of seeing things that way, I think it is good to always keep at least a little bit of an open mind. Like maybe you can adopt that belief, or be like, okay, I'm gonna experiment with this. I'm gonna see how this feels to me, or like, yes, maybe this is true. I believe this is true, but I think it's always good to have like a little bit of an openness, like so that you're not just completely shut off to like any sort of logic or something when it comes to. Basically, I'm just getting that reason is a good thing. That is a higher vibration. Reason is one of the high vibrations. And so that's good. It's good to use your reason. It's good to think about things, and it's good to question, I think, and explore these things, and not just take like one person's word for it, or even a few people's word for it. I think it's important to and explore. I think it's important to explore it for yourself and stuff too. Again, reason is good. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just getting that maybe you've been, maybe you've been exploring manifestation more too. That could be something that could be something you're really interested in. Maybe you've been working on, like raising your vibration, or you've been at least looking into what does that mean? Maybe you've been looking into things like, like Abraham Hicks, or and maybe you're not sure how you feel about some of those things. For some of you, maybe you're not sure how you do feel about that. Again, especially if you're new to it. But even if you've done it for a while, maybe you've run into some things and you're like, I don't know. Or you feel like maybe it's not a complete understanding of things. Or like maybe you thought everything was one way, and now you're like, maybe now your mind is being open to like another layer of something that you didn't see before. Or you're like, I used to believe this one thing, but now I'm kind of wondering if maybe that's not the way it is, or maybe there's just like more to it that you hadn't realized before. Maybe you thought you had all the answers before. For some of you, again, this isn't for all of you, but like maybe you did think you found something that gave you all the answers, and now maybe you're questioning. Maybe something came up that made you realize, okay, maybe I don't. And maybe, your perspective is really shifting on something like that. So I'm just getting that whatever though you're exploring right now, I feel like you're on the right path. You're doing and exploring the things that you need to do in order to get to where you're hoping to be at. Basically, I'm getting you are on the right path. You are doing a good job, and it is happening for you. So I hope that this is some helpful confirmation for you. All right, I'm going to get a few pistachios as confirmation in case you like those. And, maybe some other details might come up. This has actually just become this whole thing was just a channeled message, I guess. I thought I was gonna feel prompted to get cards, but I didn't. I think this was the whole thing. I'm getting too that for some reason I'm getting like I'm hearing the pieces are gonna come together, or like pieces of the puzzle. It's like you're gonna see things from a different perspective, and it's gonna come together. Or you're going to see the purpose to things before, or it's like, so maybe you're going to see like how a lot of things even in your life kind of, I heard correlate, or they all go together, or they all kind of, it's like they were all leading you to some place that you couldn't have imagined or you didn't realize was happening at the time, or you're going to see how like so many different pieces fit together to make something happen, or it's like everything was leading to a certain very pivotal or very profound, very amazing moment in your life, or it's like everything kind of, or there were several events or several, I don't know, but there's several pieces basically that you're going to realize fit together in kind of like a beautiful, divinely harmonious or divinely orchestrated sort of feeling way. Sorry, the camera stopped again. Basically, I'm getting that either you're having a realization now or you're going to have a realization soon that it's like almost everything in your life was leading you up to something. And it's going to hit you, or maybe it is kind of, maybe some of you are having the realization now, or you did already, that like this was, again, like I said in the beginning, it's not coincidence, or it's not an accident, or it's, it's not, you're realizing like this isn't coincidence. Like there are all these signs, or there are all these things pointing towards this thing, or the fact that it feels like you were divinely led to something, or like everything unfolded in a specific way for some reason. I'm not sure if I'm explaining this right, but I'm hoping it's going to make sense to you. Okay. I've got the bowl of pistachios here. I'm looking at the owl. There's a card on my desk, and it's the owl card. The owl and hop. So for some of you, oops, I'm dropping them again. Maybe for some of you, you've been seeing owls, or owls are a special sign for you. So this might be confirmation for you. Or you might see an owl, like that could be a sign for you that you get soon. Or maybe owls are just like a very special animal to you. Maybe they're one of your spirit guides right now, or something like that. I dropped one. 1 second. I know I dropped. Oh, it went quite a distance. I'm hearing you're going the distance, and it was negative energy. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Oh. Okay. I'm falling off the chair. Okay. Now. Yeah. Chaos. Like you're trying to get resituated, you're trying to get yourself, or maybe you're trying to ground yourself, maybe you're trying to, if something shocking has happened for you especially, or where this kind of has all opened up for you at once due to a trauma or an illness or whatever it was that happened, where it's kind of, and you've been really going through it because it's kind of all awakening at once. I'm just getting that maybe you're trying to like compose yourself, or you're trying to regulate your nervous system, or you're trying to, I don't know, but find, some sort of grounding or calm, or get yourself, I heard put yourself back together, or feel, like you're back on track again, or something. I don't know, but something like that's coming through. So maybe that has been something you've been feeling that way. If you've been trying to recover from an illness, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, there's something about owls. Oh yeah, and there was something about the song in the beginning. I meant to say this and I forgot. The song Harley's in Hawaii by Katy Perry. I don't know why, but that was coming through. And then I heard Waikiki. So that there's definitely something about Hawaii coming through for some of you. Either you have like Hawaiian ancestry, or you're in Hawaii, or you just came back from Hawaii, or you're going to Hawaii soon, or you're planning a trip to Hawaii, or you've been fantasizing about Hawaii a lot, or seeing like a whole bunch of signs about Hawaii. Then this could be that, this would be a sign for you. I did it again, and it's the same thing. Oh my, it's the same pistachio that just jumped again and almost fell off my lap again. It's the same one that did it the first time. Okay, this means something, and it's the negative energy pistachio. So it's going to be really hard for me to hold everything up because the camera's kind of far away from me, so I don't think it's going to show up, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know if this is focusing or not. I can't tell. But it says negative energy. So you guys... Yeah, I do think you've had a lot of negative... Okay. Oh, you know what? This makes sense, though. If you are going through a spiritual awakening, I feel like people experience the most psychic attacks and things like negative energy, or it's like you become more... It's like it becomes more noticeable, or you're more sensitive to it. You're more sensitive to the negative energy when you start going through all of these upgrades, or when you start going... When all of this starts unlocking, it can be kind of overwhelming, and you can feel more of this negative energy around you, or you're more susceptible to it, especially if you've had some sort of trauma. You might have like a rupture in your basic grid. You might have aura tears or some sort of damage, basically your energy field and your physical vessel, again, your body, have been through a struggle. So you're not as resilient, or you're not as impervious. You're not as, you're not as insulated, and you're not as well defended or able to protect yourself basically from the negative energy that's just naturally around all the time. There are all kinds of low vibrational energies happening within us and around us all the time, but when you start going through a process like this, it's like you don't have like the resistance, or you don't have, I don't know if resistance is the right word. It's like you don't have the, basically you don't have the same protection, or you don't have, I feel like I'm not able to explain. Again, it's harder to come up with the words for this, because I feel like they want me to come up with like a specific, like, the words are important. It's like you don't have the same shield, basically. It's like you're just more exposed and raw. And again, you don't have like the same protections. Again, especially if you've been through something where you have some sort of aura damage, or a basic grid rupture, which is something that they talk about in Eden energy medicine. If you look into that, there are energy workers that work with part of your energy system called the basic grid. And a lot of times, if you have a severe trauma, you will have damage to that. And that's a really hard thing to repair. For me, there are things that can be done, but meditation, like routine, like consistent meditation over time, consistently, that is one of the things that can help repair the basic grid. And there are other things you can do to help heal your aura and stuff too. And those might be really helpful for you right now if you can do any sorts of exercises that help your aura, and do things like have a regular meditation routine. I know it can be very difficult and it can be daunting, especially if you haven't done that before, but you can start very, very small. You don't have to sit down and meditate for 15 minutes. You can start with even just a couple minutes if it's hard for you. You can try things like moving meditations, and maybe things like mindful movement. might be helpful if it's really hard for you to sit still and meditate that way. But in time, if you start really small and then just work up from there, any little bit that you can do basically is going to be helpful for your energy system and for your mind and for your body to kind of come into more harmony, and that can help you find a lot of peace. Anyway, I'm getting that might be really good for you guys. And if you are feeling like you're experiencing more psychic attacks, or like psychic attacks for the first time, or you're feeling a lot of negative energy around you, or you feel like you're having a lot of really bad luck, or it's just like all of these low vibrational energies are all around you, or, you know, you're having, or again, it just feels like you're having really terrible luck or something. I'm getting that that is something that a lot of people do experience when going through this sort of thing. But the more you are able to, I'm getting, it will get better. Things will improve. They will get better. As you heal, this won't be as much of an issue anymore. I'm getting that, especially once your aura is more healed, your energy system in general is more healed, and your body is more healed, you will notice that you just don't struggle as much. You probably won't even notice the negative energy as much. You won't be as aware of it, or, you know, it won't affect you that much anymore. But that, for some of you, that could take a while before you're able to get to that point. So in the meantime, it's important to be gentle with yourself. First of all, be gentle. Don't be hard on yourself about needing to be more alone, maybe, or to insulate yourself more, to protect yourself more, maybe not engage with others as much, unless it feels good to you to be around people more. It might differ from person to person, but definitely make sure whoever you're around is someone that, you know, feels safe, that's good for you, that is, you know, supportive and encouraging and high vibrational things, and, you know, that's soothing and feels good to you, basically. You know, that's important right now, to not be around harsh people or like super negative people. As much as you can manage that. You know, again, be gentle with yourself and try not to beat yourself up about that or be harsh with yourself. Just acknowledge that this is just your need right now, and you're healing, and that's a good thing, and it's okay for you to do what you need to do while you're in this process. I'm getting, it is sort of like I'm seeing a hermit crab without a shell. You know, you're like a hermit crab going between shells. You know, right now you don't have your old shell, like you outgrew it, and now your very vulnerable little squishy body is trying to find you know, you're in that transition to another shell. But so this is just a vulnerable time for you right now. You know, it's important for you to protect yourself in any way that you feel is necessary for you, you know, or would be good for you. Things that might help you through this process when you are more sensitive to this negative energy, or you're feeling these things more intensely, could be like Reiki. Reiki sessions can help. I know I've even had a lot of help. Like when I was really going through it a lot, one of the things that did help me was Reiki sessions on YouTube. Like some of those even, like not even one-on-one or in person, even those alone were enough to really help me a lot when I was struggling at one point. And so you might want to look into something like that. I do some Reiki videos, but there are many great Reiki masters on YouTube that you can find. So anyway, you might want to look into that. That might help bring you some relief, and kind of help you to feel more shielded, or less affected by the negative energy. while your own system is going through these upgrades and is more vulnerable, and you can't, your own energy system can't protect you as well and is, more damaged. These other things can help you and might even help to heal your energy system at the same time. Again, like I mentioned, the meditation, or any sort of like mindful movement, like yoga, qigong. You might want to look into Eden energy medicine, like Donna's daily routine, where you're tracing your meridians, and activating certain energy centers. That might be helpful for you as well. You might want to look into that. If you feel like if you're really recovering from something right now physically, and you feel like you can't do a whole lot of movement, again, the meditation, but you could do guided meditations. If you feel like just sitting there and trying to clear your mind seems intimidating, there are all kinds of really great guided meditations out there that you can find on YouTube. And if you feel like you can't move, but you kind of feel like maybe it would be good for you to move a little bit, but you feel like you couldn't handle any sort of strenuous workout, you could look into yin yoga. That can help you to, that's very gentle. So very gentle stretches. You might want to look into that. And again, you don't have to be, well, I don't know if I said this before, but you don't have to be super flexible either. I think some people have that misconception or misperception about yoga. You don't have to be flexible. You can just do the pose to the best of your ability, up to what your limit is. And there are a lot of poses you can do even if you're not super flexible, or ways that you can adjust the pose, modify it so that you can still do it, and you will still get some benefit out of that. So I felt like I should mention that for someone. Being in nature, also really helpful. Putting your bare feet on the ground, getting that earthing, that grounding, that has a lot of benefits. That has a lot of beneficial effects on your body. I feel like that would be good for you. Being around trees, just being in nature in general would be good. All of these things can help you with this negative energy. There are certain, cleansing your energy as well, like cleansing out the negative energy that's around you, doing certain, sound cleanses. There are certain frequencies that can help clear that negative energy out for you. Practices like smudging, like I do sometimes with the smoke. You can get sage is a very popular one. Palo Santo, another very popular one. Cedar also, and I kind of like that one because it smells nice, and I do feel like it works well. But I've also used Palo Santo and other things. For me, it has been just as effective as the Palo Santo, but I'm not sure if everyone has had that experience, but for me it is. But there are other things you can do too. Salt baths, certain essential oils. I know I'm missing, there are a lot. Different crystals you could try. Oh yes, if you are struggling with negative energy and just with your aura and feeling very drained and just having difficulty in general, and you're going through something like this, my number one recommendation for a crystal is amethyst. For me, when I started wearing an amethyst bracelet, it really turned some things around for me. I noticed a huge difference, and I wasn't expecting to. It was not placebo, guys. I was not expecting it to do anything for me at all. I just thought, honestly, I didn't think that, I liked crystals, but I didn't think they actually did anything. When I started wearing an amethyst bracelet and it actually improved I felt a huge improvement in my health, not even a small one. It was a huge difference, to the point where I realized when I started feeling sick and couldn't move, sometimes, or I would start getting a flare, it's because I forgot to wear my amethyst my phone just, that was a confirmation. So for some of you, you need to get an amethyst bracelet, or if you don't want to wear a bracelet or any, visible jewelry, you could at least carry one in your pocket. But amethyst, I feel like it would be best. I'm just feeling like it probably would be best if it was a pendant or a bracelet. But like if it was touching you more, I feel like that probably would be best. But if you can't, then maybe like carry one in your pocket at least. But amethyst, really coming through, that's something I really, really feel would be good for you guys. At least consider it. Again, these are general readings, so take what resonates, but I really felt like I was supposed to share that with someone. And now, I can go much longer. I don't need it quite like I used to, because I've done a lot of parts of my energy system have had a lot of healing, and my aura is much stronger than it used to be. But so I can go longer periods without wearing anything and really not notice much. But I still feel like I do feel better in general when I do wear it. And same with my other crystals, but that one especially, I feel like if I could only recommend one crystal to you, it would definitely be amethyst. Definitely. So might want to look into that. Even more so than like the other cleansing crystals like selenite and black tourmaline, I would recommend amethyst. Although, if you could get some selenite, that would probably be really good too. And black tourmaline is also a very protective, that's like a classic. A lot of people use that for protection. If you are using a black tourmaline or wearing one though, make sure you cleanse that frequently, because that will be absorbing that negative energy, and then you need to clear it out of there so that it keeps helping you, so yeah. Anyway, just some things to consider that might be beneficial to you in dealing with negative energy. Also, your own thoughts have a huge impact on your energy system and on how negative energy can affect you. So if you're able to think more positive thoughts, like more thoughts that help you to feel positively, that's typically going to help strengthen your energy overall and make you more impervious to things like psychic attacks or any sort of like intrusive or invasive negative energy. So but that's easier said than done. Obviously you can't just feel happy all the time. That's just not really realistic, and I don't think that's very healthy to think of making that your goal. But the more positive you can feel though, the more you are able to think optimistically, or you are able to think thoughts that bring you peace, that bring you comfort, that bring you happiness, joy, a feeling of optimism, fulfillment, things like that, gratitude. If the more you can feel those, think thoughts that help you to feel those sorts of things, the better that's going to be for your energy overall. And that will actually help protect you from like negative energy attacks. So if you feel like someone is sending you evil eye, or you feel like someone's sending you negative energy, if you get angry about that and you get very frustrated and you're like, how could that person, I can't believe they're like this, and blah, 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 and you kind of get angry and upset about that, or you want to send that back at them, or you feel like you want, if you get into that energy, that negative energy is actually able to impact you more. It's able to affect you more. I know there's a lot more to this too, but this is already going to be super long. I'm not even sure if anyone's going to click on this because it's so long. But I hope this was helpful in some way. Another thing that might help you with negative energy is like praying to your spirit guides, praying to praying to an archangel, like Archangel Michael, to help protect you. Praying to your higher power, that can, definitely help, for sure. Also, you might want to look into getting some evil eye like an evil eye bracelet or some sort of evil eye jewelry. Like the blue eye. I think most people know what the evil eye or the like, what the evil eye looks like. That can help. I think it's also called the Nazeer. It'll help. That might help shield you from some negative energy. It might help you to not feel it as much, to not feel it coming at you as much. And maybe also like Hamza. I wear one of those, and I like that one. So these are just some other protective pieces that you might want to think about wearing, that might help you to feel less, to feel that negative energy less. Also doing visualizations of yourself like in a shield of white light, or a shield of rainbow light, or whatever feels right to you. A shield of purple flames or white flames or some sort of flames can sometimes help too. Basically, I would recommend experimenting and kind of feeling it out intuitively and seeing what seems to help. You can, also call on your spirit team to help protect you. I think I mentioned that with like the prayers and stuff. And ask them. You can also try to ask them in meditation if there's anything they recommend to help protect you. You might want to try moonstone too with black tourmaline inclusions. That might be something that helps you out too. Especially, I'm just getting you might want to look at that. I'm not feeling that nearly as strongly as like the amethyst that I recommended, but if that jumps out at you as something that, if that one's calling to you, you might want to look into it. And just know that you are divinely protected. You do have a spirit team. You do have a higher power. You do have spiritual protection. If you are here watching this reading still, you are divinely protected. I believe that. And especially if you're praying and doing all these things, just know you are protected, and they're not going to be able to. This energy is not stronger than you. This energy is not stronger than your spirit team, and you are stronger than this negative energy that's coming at you, and it won't be able to last forever. This onslaught won't be able to last for long. They can't maintain it at this level for long, and it will crump, like it will start dissipating, especially with all the protection you have. It will start dissipating, and it will probably come back on the other person. I would not recommend intending that it comes back on them. I recommend just putting it in a higher power's hands to do with whatever would be for the highest good for all parties involved, rather than like intending it to return to sender. But that's just me. I feel like that way you're putting it in the universe's hands. You're putting it in a higher power's hands that knows everything about everybody in the situation and knows what would be most fair and just, and also knows the best thing to do with that energy. Like whatever they can do with that might be more creative and helpful and effective than anything you could think of. So if you leave it up to them, I think that that's usually the best way to go about it. Anyway, and then just just know that you will get through this. You will get through this difficult period. And there are things you can do to keep trying to lessen the feelings, lessen the impact of that energy on you, and eventually it will dissipate. and probably it will dissipate soon, because it really takes a lot of energy to keep that sort of thing up. And especially since they're probably going to be having bad karma, if not from what they've done to you, then they probably from something else they've done too is going to probably come back on them, and they're going to get distracted, or something will happen basically, or they will just get tired. But eventually, or something else will happen, like the universe will arrange something to happen, but basically it won't last, and you will be protected. And what they're intending to have happen with this energy, it won't be able to do what they're intending it to do. And yeah, you're stronger. And your protection is stronger. And you will be okay. You will. You will make it through this, and you will be all right. And eventually they're not going to be able to touch you at all. Their energy won't be able to touch you at all. That's what I'm getting as a message. You are going to be able to feel safe again. You know, you will get back to a place. You'll get back to a good place again, basically. It's a process. You're already making progress, though. I'm getting that, you know, and you will get back to a place where you feel more stable, and grounded and solid and all that stuff again. Especially for those of you where this has like been kind of a shocking process, or you've kind of like awakened all at once and you're feeling very, you know, things will settle down eventually. You will balance. You will like reach a balance again, or you will feel like you come back to a place of equilibrium again. Now I'm hearing a wren. You're on the right path, and you are healing. That's what I'm getting. So, yeah. Okay. So, again, it's going to be hard for me to show you these, so I think I'm just going to read them out. This one says pet. So for some of you, maybe you are with your pet right now, or maybe your pet is asking you for something right now, or you're feeding your pet, or they're asking to be fed or something, but there's something to do with your pet for someone. That'll be a confirmation. This is the letter Z, so could be an initial. We've got the number 9, so the month of September or the 9th of any month could be significant. We have video/movie. So maybe some of you are a content creator, or you were just obviously you're watching a video right now if you're watching this, but like maybe you were also watching a movie, or maybe there's like maybe there's like a TV on in the background, or you're like watching a movie and watching this, or I don't know, but there's just something about that's coming through. I feel like it's more likely this would be a confirmation if you were a content creator, though, or you were thinking of doing that, maybe. Okay, this says, yeah, because this says calling. So some of you, this is something you're feeling called to do, or you already have felt that inspiration to start making some sort of online content, some sort of videos. Okay, we have the letter C. So again, that could be an initial for you. We've got compliments. Okay, so if someone just gave you a compliment, or gives you a compliment right after this reading, or gave you one right before this reading or something, or you just gave someone a compliment, or you're doing that right now, this would be confirmation for you that this is your reading. Or maybe like you give people compliments a lot, so this would be, yeah, sign for you. It says hobby and or project. Okay, so definitely for some of you here, this is about yeah, you do have something you're working on. A lot of you are a content creator. Like you you make some, maybe you're on YouTube too, or, you know, some other platform, but you make videos. And for a lot of you, this is your calling, or it's like one of your, like this was something you were meant to do here. Or this is like a big part of your journey. Yeah. Okay. So that is what I've got for you guys. I hope that something in here was something to consider, that would be something helpful for you to, you know, like I hope there was something helpful here. I hope that it will set you at least maybe on a path of your own exploration. And you can look at this information and explore and find what resonates for you, or what works for you, what seems right for you, what it feels like truth to you. Yeah, I just hope you can take something from this, at least, so that is beneficial to you in some way. And in any case, I am wishing you guys tons of good luck. I am sending you all good vibes, and I am sending you lots of love, and I hope that you will feel so much better, or like if you are still feeling sick, I hope that you will feel completely healed very soon. I hope that you will feel at least so much better very soon. And I'm wishing you all the best. And wow, my ear is ringing really loudly. I feel like maybe that's a sign or synchronicity for someone too. Or again, your angels, they are very much with you guys. You are very loved and very watched over. I feel that. I mean, everyone has spirit guides, everyone has angels, but you guys, I feel like, are very, very, I think you have a lot of them, or maybe you, I don't know, but you're just very loved and supported, guys, in the spirit. Like, you definitely are being watched over. You have a lot of divine support, and yeah, you are not alone in this, for sure. Definitely not. So anyway, thank you again so much for being here. I am wishing you all the best and sending lots of love. I think I said that. Can't remember though. Anyway, thank you again. Take care.